Here we go. We're live. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Maya Angelou said, when people show you who they are the first time, believe them. And the majority, not every single person, but the majority of white America has shown us who they are for the past 500 years. They showed us who they were when they came over here and killed all the indigenous people to steal all their land and resources. They showed us who they were when they brought Asian people over here to build the railroad and then stuck them in internment camps on this continent. They showed us who they were when they separated Latino babies from their parents and locked them in cages. And they showed us who they were when they stole innocent Africans, put them in the bottom of ships, murdered them, raped them, and treated them as chattel for profit. They showed us who they were when they abandoned all of their European cultural differences and homogenized themselves into this one group called white, then created this white supremacist fantasy in order to rationalize to themselves treating everybody that didn't look like them like garbage. They showed us who they were when they held on to this white supremacist fantasy in order to justify making it illegal for black people to read, making it okay for them to get black people out of their beds and string them up in trees and have their children sit out there and take pictures and pass the shit around the country on postcards. They showed us who they were when they allowed white people in this country to kill black people with no consequence. See, today it's mostly just cops, but it wasn't that long ago when the average Joe Blow white American could just kill whatever black person they wanted to and get away with it. Emmett Till was only 1 year older than my father, then my damn daddy. They also show us who they are when they refuse to even discuss any kind of recompense for the oppression and degradation they have shown an entire race of people who are owed for building this country on their backs for free. So this little new boy that shot up all these black people in Buffalo, New York yesterday, he is not new to us. He is only new to the people who have not been paying attention. And they gonna get on the news and try to act like he's some kind of lone wolf. He's some kind of psycho. And they just don't understand how he could have these thoughts and how he came to act out this way. I'll tell you. He is the offspring of Fox News, of allowing all these GOP politicians to play fast and loose with the legislation of this country, of all these people who act like they don't see what the fuck is really going on in this country. He's a product of that. He's also a product of that. That is across the street from my house right now. And y'all love to get on TV and holler about this is not who we are. This is exactly who you are. This is exactly who you've shown us you are. And until you show us different, this is all we know you to be.
Let me tell you something. White privilege is the greatest superpower in the Western world. It is omnipresent. And all those who are protected by it are protected by its laws, its police, and its mainstream media. You notice these mass shooters, who are usually white, when the police go after them, they always manage to get them out alive, unscathed. They don't light them up with bullets. It doesn't take 100 cops to pin them down. And they always handle them with extra care. They're always extra gentle, like it's a newborn baby or something. Just, watch his head. Be careful. Notice how no matter how armed and dangerous these mass shooters are, when it's one of their own, they are never afraid for their life. They don't fear for their life. When it's one of their own, that's because they do not like using deadly force against them. That is the absolute last resort. They will do everything that they can before they have to use deadly force. They will always protect their own. Dylan Roof goes into a church and shoots up innocent black people, and they give him a bulletproof vest. Then they take him to Burger King to get something to eat. I guess he worked up quite an appetite killing all those black people, huh? The way the cops handled Patrick Crusius, you would think he was just jaywalking or littering. But no, he went into a Walmart in El Paso with an AK-47 and lit that place up. Remember James Holmes in Aurora, Colorado? Went into a movie theater and shot up a bunch of people? He made it out alive. What about Christopher Dorner, though? How did they handle that situation? Remember Mika Johnson, the Dallas shooter? Did they bring him out alive? Did they take him to Burger King? No, they used a bomb that they never used before to take him out. This is how they handle mass shooters in America when it's their own. And this is how they handle black people who sell cigarettes. I'm sorry, Eric Gardner didn't murder anyone. He didn't commit a mass shooting. He wasn't armed or dangerous. And look how they handled him. Look how they handled Tamir Rice and Sandra Bland and Amir Locke and Freddie Gray and Philando Castile and George Floyd. So many others. You see the difference? Patrick Crusius goes into a Walmart, kills a bunch of people, and he makes it out alive. But Patrick Lyoya runs away from the police and gets shot in the head. You see how that works out? Now let's get to the mainstream media, the worst of the worst. This is why you can't trust the mainstream media, because they will always look out for their own. No matter how heinous, no matter how sinister the crime, they always look out for their own. Notice how none of these mainstream news platforms have Peyton's name listed in their headlines. Then when you watch their videos, most of the reporters don't even say his name. They label him as a suspect, a mass shooter, a shooter, but they don't want to say his name. And if they do, they say it real quick and they move on. Like, what is he, Voldemort from Harry Potter? Say his fucking name. Peyton Gendron. Say his name. But if it was a black person, even if they're a victim, not only will they tell you their name, they'll tell you what they ate for breakfast when they was 3 years old. White privilege, it's the greatest superpower in the Western world.
And as much as y'all don't fuck with us, why do y'all always come in our areas and our neighborhoods and our churches and our communities and shooting it up? Just leave us the fuck alone. That's why I never got about Tulsa. I never got about Rosewood. You know how sick y'all gotta be to just decide on yourself, I'm about to go to another community and just shoot them. Like, where the black motherfuckers is, like, since they keep saying this reverse racism and black people are just as violent and just as hateful as, where the ones where we go into y'all areas and say, I'm about to go to this nice suburban spot and just shoot spray? Where the fuck is that?
We're not interested in interracial housing. We don't want your neighborhood. We want ours to be just as good. See? We don't want a store in your neighborhood. We don't want you coming in our neighborhood and open up stores and exploiting us and then go home and throw a bomb if we move next door out in the suburbs. We don't want your schools, but we want our schools to be the highest and the best possible for our black progeny. See, what people don't understand, we are saying and we're not asking. You see? The die is cast, as I said. We're not asking. We're saying this is the way it's going to be.
The young lady from Winnetka has stated that she saw during the marches which she participated in people who were full of fear and hatred. Mr. Lucas has said that the American Negro is either going to be free or he's going to be dead.
Now, you get this straight. You can kill all the black folks you want to, baby, but you will not kill the freedom of black folks. It's coming. We're going to get it. We fought in every one of your damn lousy wars, baby, and you give us nothing. Now, the war is going to be here because we're going to be free. Now, you kill all you want to, but we kill too.
It's too much. You can't even go to the damn store in peace. It's so crazy.
To authorities, it's an act of pure evil and hatred. Police say alleged mass shooter Peyton Gendron had one thing on his mind when he got to Buffalo, New York: to kill as many black people as he could. Police say Gendron drove up to this Tops Friendly Market store Saturday. He stopped his car directly in front of the entrance, got out, raised his rifle, and began to fire, according to witnesses, more than 50 times. One of the first to confront Gendron was security guard and retired Buffalo police officer Aaron Salter. Investigators believe Gendron's body armor and helmet deflected the gunfire, giving Gendron an opportunity to return fire, striking and killing the police veteran. 13 people Gendron allegedly shot, 11 of them were black. 10 people in all were killed. Police say 4 of them were store employees, the rest were customers, all of them innocent. City and state officials tell us they vow that the Buffalo community will not be defined by this incident, but by how they rally around the victims and their families now.
We as a community will rise again stronger than before.
Aaron Salter Jr., 55, a retired Buffalo police officer who worked as a security guard at the store. Salter is being praised by city officials after they say he exchanged fire with the shooter, hitting him at least once. Pearl Young, 77, ran a food pantry in Buffalo's Central Park neighborhood for 25 years, according to local affiliate WGRZ. Her family says she was known as a mother, grandmother, and missionary who loved singing and dancing. Ruth Whitfield, 86. She stopped to get something to eat at the store while on the way back from visiting her husband in a nursing home, and was known to her son as a mother to the motherless, according to the AP. Roberta Drury, 32, went to the store to pick up some groceries to make dinner for her family. Drury moved to Buffalo after her brother underwent a bone marrow transplant for leukemia, according to WKBW. Celestine Cheney, 65, a cancer survivor and a grandmother of 6. Her son said she went to the supermarket to get strawberries to make shortcakes, a favorite food of hers, according to the New York Times. Catherine Massey, 72. Known as a beautiful soul, she wrote a letter to the Buffalo News last year calling for stronger federal gun control, according to the Washington Post. Andre McNeil, 53. The AP says McNeil was picking up a birthday cake to surprise his grandson. His cousin says he was a loving and caring guy who was always there for his family. Hayward Patterson, 67. A church deacon who would give shoppers rides home from Tops with their grocery bags, and who loved the community just as much as he loved the church, according to a local pastor. He was reportedly waiting for passengers outside Tops when he was killed, according to CNN. Geraldine Talley, 62, was shopping with her fiancé when she was killed. Her niece said she was the life of the party and an avid baker and mother of two who didn't meet a stranger. Margus D. Morrison, 52, was also a victim in the shooting. He lived in Buffalo and had 3 children, according to WKBW.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Hi, hey, what up, Kev? What up,
Hey,
Tiffany?
what's up, Carl?
Hey,
Tiffany,
blessings.
what's up, sister?
All right,
Blessings,
well, I
Kev.
want to welcome everyone to the show. Please, thank you
Hi, everybody.
for checking in. Please, as you know, we always say like, share, subscribe. Please get everyone in on our show. I am coining this the Black Therapy Show because that's what we're here to do. We're here to. We don't have the answers for everything that's happening to Black people in this country, but at least if we can talk about it, you know, we kind of get it out. It's kind of a therapy. This show is a therapy for me. I can tell you that honestly. I would never stop doing this show because it makes me feel better when I get it out. When you hold it inside and you walk around, you just feel, I don't know, you feel like you want to explode. So I hope everyone watching the show, black, white, green, purple, you know, just come on and watch the show, share your experiences. It's one of the things I want the show to be, a place where people can share their experiences. I'm going to put the link in the chat. If you want to come on and share an experience you had because of your color or your race or whatever, or your gender, your sexual preference or whatever, this is a place to do it. This is therapy for all of us. It's kind of a somber show for me and Kevin and Tiffany because this is the first time in my life, I swear to God, that I feel nervous going to the supermarket. I was at the supermarket today and I literally felt nervous. Being out in public, I feel nervous. You know what I mean? I don't feel safe. I swear I'm keeping an eye on especially white men. I'm looking at them like, okay, so you know what I mean? And this happened before in the past, but this time, I don't know what is it about this time, but I don't feel safe. For the first time in my 30 plus years in America, I don't feel safe. And one of the questions I've asked myself from the time I got here is like, what do they want? I mean, like, what is it? What have we done? Nothing, right? It just seemed to be pure hatred. I was having a conversation with a white friend of mine before the shooting, 2 days before the shooting. We were talking about race, and I said to her, some white people are just evil. Because she couldn't understand why, I think she mentioned something about they're mentally disturbed and they hate themselves. I said, no, they're just evil. If you can watch Black people hang from a tree, you're evil. And her words to me, well, evil is kind of a strong word. Boom, then Saturday happened. Was it Saturday? Saturday happened. So I haven't spoken to her since. So if that's not evil, I don't know what is. And Tiffany's joining our show. Tiffany's going to be a regular on the show. We love having her. We love her passion.
Awesome.
Thank you. I love being with y'all. I love y'all. Thank you so much.
All the criteria that Kevin and I are looking for, you know, and we're just passionate about what's happening to our people.
Amen.
But we're just passionate.
Carl called me up and told me you're going to join the show. I was very happy to hear that news, Tiffany. So.
Oh, I'm happy. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for welcoming me.
Just dropped my phone here. Excuse me.
So, Tiffany, when you first heard the news, I mean, what went through your mind and what were your feelings? And give us your thoughts.
Like for real?
For real. This is
like
what is the show for real.
For real? Like you know how you just like it came up on my phone, you know, but then when you go and you look and then you see the police and the movement, you like, this is for real. This is for real. And the first interview was by a man that had an hour and a half conversation with him. And not one time you didn't feel like something was different. He said he had an hour and a half conversation with him.
Who did? Who had an hour and a half?
A guy went up there. He was doing a lot of interviews, and he said he saw him. And he came to him and he said something to him because he had a genius on his shirt. So he said he wanted to talk to him, and they sat there and was talking about race and all of that. And not one time did y'all notice that y'all never saw this white man around here, this white boy around here. They said he was actually around there for the whole weekend for like 2 days. They said they had to tell him he had to leave, but he was looking around the place. So it was so many clues. But us as Black people, why we're not afraid of white people, but we're afraid of our own kind?
That's a good
I think. If I jump in for a second, real quickly on that, Tiffany, I think we're not paranoid of that type of thing. What happened on Saturday morning in Buffalo? Yes, we've been terrorized and been victims of brutality and murders at the hands of white people, as that lady said, going on 400 years plus, right? Mm-hmm. But when we think of mass shootings, you know, most of the mass shootings that have happened over the last 15 years have been mostly at the hands of white men. And that if you take out the DC snipers, 99% of the other mass shooters have been white men who have shot other white people. I mean, most of the mass shootings are not aimed just at Black people. They're aimed at everybody, you know, kids. I mean, there's been a few. The guy in Texas who drove to the Walmart, and I think in Paso, I believe it was, Texas, and shot the people at the Walmart. Now he was after Hispanic people. I mean, he was going there to shoot Spanish people because he was upset by the rhetoric that Trump was putting out at the time against that community. So that was a direct target. And then there's just a lot of mass shootings at synagogues. Those were aimed at Jewish people. And of course, the Dylan Roof thing was definitely aimed at Black people. So I think, you know, on a Saturday morning when you go to the grocery store, it's just a normal routine, you know, and I think that we just don't, you know, I do. Me personally, as Carl said, he went to the grocery store and he's paranoid now. I've always been that way over the last. Every time I go to the grocery store and I stay in the store, I'm a shopaholic. Unfortunately, I like to go in stores, and every time I go to a mall, every time I go to a grocery store, I'm looking around. I'm paranoid. I'm nervous. I was just in upstate New York doing shows a few weeks ago in Utica, which is, I guess, maybe 4 hours away from Buffalo. I think Buffalo's maybe 4 hours or 3 hours north of Utica. And I went to a store, a popular grocery store in New York, and went in shopping. And it was a Saturday because I'm in, comedy club. Friday and Saturday morning, I went to a grocery store in upstate New York, not that far from Buffalo. I walked in that store and I was looking around. I was paranoid, in Utica, New York, so, and this was 2 weeks before the shooting that happened in Buffalo, by the way. So me personally, I've always been that guy that just walks around and always looking over my shoulder because I know where we are in America as a society. I know where we are. You don't have to tell me twice who you are. I know who we are. As football coach Dennis Green once says, we know who you are. You are who we thought you were. Remember that rant? You are who we thought you were. Well, America, you are who we know you are. There's nothing new under the sun. Okay, so I'm always paranoid of gun violence in this country, and mass shootings and stuff like that. This story has so many legs, guys. So many legs to this that we probably have to do a couple of shows to get through it. It's just, I mean, where do you start? I mean, first of all, this guy had. I don't even want to hear the mental health BS.
No.
I don't even want to hear it. There's nothing mentally wrong with this dude. He thought this out, as you said, Tiffany. He, as we all know now, he went to the town a few days in advance. Now he drove 3 hours almost to this town, just scope it out, check it out. Went back home, then drove back again. He had a lot of time, a lot of driving back and forth to think about this.
And Kevin sent me the video where when he was started shooting, he came up on a white guy.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, came up on a white guy.
Oh no, sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So that you're not mentally deranged when you do that. I'll tell you a story real quickly, and I'll make it quick. My brother and I were in Washington D.C., and we were watching this homeless guy who was picking on every time white people, tourists would walk by, he would pick on them. And we sat there and watched it. And my brother and I walked by, and he didn't bother us. And my brother said to me, "See, he's not crazy." Yeah. Because he was picking on, he was homeless, and he was picking on those white people when they walked by. But when we walked by, he didn't mess with us. My brother said to me, "See, he's not crazy." And it's just this guy ain't crazy. He knew if you're crazy, you're not just going to shoot. You're going to shoot everybody. You're not going to apologize to the white guy. "Oh, sorry." You know what I'm saying? You're crazy. You're going to shoot that white guy too. Because you don't care. You're angry at the world. That guy that most mass shooters are running to a mall and shoot at the movie theater, he's shooting at everybody, not just white or black or Asian or Indian. He's shooting everybody in that movie theater. He was pointing to blacks. So yeah, when this guy knew what he was doing. He planned this out. He live streamed this to a racist website. I have a question for you guys. Should I don't know how this happened, but should the parents be held accountable? Because he lived at home. He's 18 years old, which legally he's, I guess, a grown man at 18, but he still is at home. I just find it hard to believe that the parents
had no idea.
Had no idea what's going on.
I blame the parents, periodly. I said it. I blame the parents, and I blame the mothers too. You know where racism started at? From the white woman. The mother that gives birth to the children. That's where it starts at. So yeah, we need to get to the mother and the father, because that boy didn't just wake up one day and say, "Oh, I want to just get up and just kill people." That's a learned behavior. Or what? You're not monitoring him? I mean, what's going on? But he's still at your house.
Well, Tiffany, I'll give you a perfect example. Another story that's in the news right now. Is the 9-year-old who went to the black people's house with the whip. Did you see that?
I saw it.
Now, let me tell you something. That right there, I actually put up on Instagram. I want to smack his mama. Do you know they flagged me?
Yeah.
They flagged me, but y'all showing what he's doing and all this stuff. Y'all got it on what's what. I just said we should slap the mother, and that was it. But he came to the house with a whip. Bang, 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 whip, whip, whip. You like, this boy needs his behind whooped.
And where did he learn that at 9 years old? And why would you let your kid, 9 years old? First of all, if my 9-year-old went out the house and walked to anybody's house and threatened them, he or she gonna have a problem with me when they got back home.
That's right. That's right. You saw the father tried to talk to the father, and they wound up locking the father up because he endangered his child because he had a gun, and the gun went off. So they locked him up. God don't like ugly, but we see where he get it from. But I was in a state, I actually started laughing to keep from crying because I could not believe this little boy had a whip. Like he was like, so this racism, it's here. And this is what we need to talk about, because I wonder, like, we don't bother y'all. Like we didn't come in your community.
Yeah, like that guy said, we don't go where white people are and just start killing white people.
No.
And see, now that's where Rittenhouse became a hero with the right wing media, on social media, on Fox News. Rittenhouse was put on a pedestal, as some sort of hero just because he murdered some people at a Black Lives Matter rally, right? Mm-hmm. And I think at the time of the shooting, he was 17. His mom drove him across state lines
with a
gun that he used to kill people at a Black Lives Matter rally. Now, that mother was never held accountable. This 17-year-old, by the time he's 18, was in court and was acquitted on all charges. And now he's some sort of celebrity because he's doing speaking engagements and being paid a lot of money to speak at these right-wing Republican events. He'll be at the Republican convention in November in a few years, talking most likely. That's where he is. He might run for office. He's old enough.
Tiffany, Yvonne Williams Simmons. What's up, Yvonne? She had a comment about your statement about it starts with the mother. She said, gave birth to a child that is out of your sight. You have peer pressure, TV, and all sorts of evil. You can't say it starts from the mother.
That's your opinion, baby. My mother didn't raise me racist, and I didn't want to.
If you live in a house with your parent, they should absolutely know that you have those kind of evil thoughts. They should have some kind of inkling, should they? I'm not.
Yes, you're a parent. You're supposed to, don't you? You still got that invisible biblical cord still stuck from you to your child. You'd be able to know when your child is going through something, their changes. I know my mother did. She knew when something was wrong. It was a look in my face. It was an energy. So you trying to tell me that these parents did not notice that something was wrong with their child, and they saw that it was okay for him to just come? No. I respect her opinion, but I'm sorry. It starts at home.
This kid had already had some sort of problems at school, and after the problems at school, from what's being reported, after he was taken and evaluated by a health counselor or whatever, the following Christmas, he was given a gun for a Christmas gift. One of the guns that was used, or one of the guns that was found in his car, because he had several guns on him. So I don't know if it was one he actually used or one of the guns they found in his car was a gun that was a Christmas gift from his dad. So after, my daughter is having some mental issues, and seeing, and I buy her a gun. Hey, daughter, I know you have some mental issues. Hey, here's a gun for Christmas. Have a nice day. But come on. Where's the responsibility? Where's the responsibility?
But the thing is, if you're afraid that white people are being replaced, you just made an argument for why white people need to be replaced.
You ain't lying.
And that's what they're fighting for, replacement theory. This replacement theory. They swear somebody's trying, because they said first of all, this young man wrote 160 plus manifesto. What they call it? Manifesto? What do they call that? Yeah. That he wrote and kept talking about replacement theory. So where did you get this from? Is your parents teaching you this? Or you are on the computer 24 hours a day, locked in your room, nobody can get in there, and you are just constantly seeing Nobody's trying to replace y'all. We just want to live our life. Leave us alone. That's why I understand when the guy said in the young lady in the video, leave us alone. We don't even bother y'all. So the next time, my thing is, right, I'm sorry. If I see somebody weird, especially a white boy, I'm calling the cops. I'm sorry. They'll call the cops on us first.
Well, they're not going to leave us alone because it's not designed to leave us alone, Tiffany. It's designed. Look, we were brought here to be slaves. We were enslaved people. Then our ancestors became unslaved, tried to build their lives when they got their freedom. And then we know throughout history, all those towns were burnt down, attacked by the KKK, burned to the ground by angry mobs, lynchings from the Jim Crow era, all the way up to the civil rights, where Black people fought for the civil rights, which, the civil rights movement. And, it was a nonviolent protest, and it worked. We got our civil rights, I guess. But I think and we talk about this on the show all the time, it's like a broken record at this point. Integration was a bad thing for us, I really believe that. It's hard for me to say that because I wasn't raised that way. I was raised with a white stepfather, in my life. My mom was in an interracial marriage for I think 16 years. My stepfather was a great man, a good guy, and good to my mother's kids. He's a good guy. I wrote about him in my book.
Right.
He meant a lot to me. So we weren't raised that way, but as of now, it's never going to happen. But I think the big picture, we're going to regret that it happened because we see now what it has destroyed. And now we see that a majority of white people, even the ones who won't say anything, really deep down inside don't like us.
Yeah.
I come to the conclusion real quickly, guys, because and Carl probably agrees with me on this one. We're professional comedians, Tiffany, and we spent probably 30 years being stand-up comics. We've dealt, a lot of our colleagues and our friends are white guys, A lot of our audience and our fan base are white people. When Trump became president, people I've known for 25, 30 years showed me sides on social media that I've never seen before.
Dr. Oz is a Trumpster. I would have never thought Dr. Oz.
That's my, you know what, Carl? I was watching CNN last night. I'm watching CNN last night at midnight. At midnight, I'm laying in bed watching CNN, and they're talking about, and Dr. Oz is on there. They live speaking to the audience. And I'm going, you know how many days I ran home at 4 o'clock or 3 p.m. to watch this dude on TV 5 days a week and follow his advice. And I was a big Dr. Oz fan. And then to come to find out he's a redneck Trump supporter.
Why are y'all surprised?
You hit it right on the nose, Carl.
You're right. Wow.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
I wonder how Oprah feels about that.
But it's our friends, though, like it's people that we know personally, though, guys who we break bread with, guys who we travel with, guys who we spend hours in the cars with, going to gigs, call guys who we been on airplanes with and comedy clubs and in the green rooms and on the shade, sharing the mic with. And then you see these guys come out and say the most racist things. You're like, really? Bob? I've been knowing Bob for 25 years. Now he agrees with Trump, about George Floyd. Like, what?
He always believed in it.
Where do these white people, these racist white people, expect this to go? I keep asking, what do they want? What's the outcome? What's the end result? If they were king for a day, what would America look like? What do they want? I mean, like, what seriously? Like, what do they hope is the
Well, first of all, if black people were to mysteriously, what the real rednecks want, the guys, January 6 people who are on the mall on January 6 Confederate flags, those guys, they want us back in chains, picking cotton and working for them. That's what they want. Now, that's not what they're going to get, but that's what they want, Carl. Because, and I say this all the time on this show, as Paul Mooney says, the great Paul Mooney, one of my favorite comedians, who I knew personally, said, I read the playbook. We weren't supposed to get loose. We weren't supposed to be free.
That's right.
That's not in the white handbook.
It wasn't.
We were never supposed to be free. And that's why white people are angry. So yes, look, this kid, the replacement theory is a new thing now. They're going to replace us. You weren't worrying about us being replaced when we were picking your cotton.
Okay.
You weren't worried about us being replaced when we're breastfeeding your babies and cleaning your house. But now that we're millionaires and thousandaires and living in our own houses and driving nice cars and business owners and movie executives and millionaires and and movie stars and basketball stars or whatever. Now it's a problem. It wasn't a problem when we were slaves. You don't want white people in your life now.
They can't control us now, and also they make money off of us. You know, so they just dealing with us, and it's really sad. But now it's time for us to wake up. Like I said, like you said, you've been in this business. We already know the deal. A lot of people don't know. This is serious for this young man to come in there. Now, what really bothered me, where was everybody in the hood? Please tell me. Where was everybody in the hood? Where is the You understand what I'm saying? Like, we got somebody new in the hood. Come check this dude. I'm very upset that my black young man in the hood was not on point. Because as soon as I would have saw somebody looking, he had army fatigue on. He was bulletproofed up.
We're always going to get caught off guard because we don't think like that. That's just not. It's not our mentality. We're not. If we were that type of people, Tiffany, then none of this would be happening because we would already be at a civil war. We already
right. That's
we'd be already.
Point. We don't work
if,
like that.
If we had the mentality that Malcolm X had, you know, or the Black Panthers had, yeah. But you know, those guys. Look what happened to those guys. The Black Panthers took up arms and say, "Hey, we're going to police our own neighborhood from police brutality." That's all they were doing. They got guns because police were killing black people. And they're like, "We can't have this, so we're going to get guns and we're going to protect our people in our neighborhoods." Right. And what did FBI head of FBI J. Edgar Hoover said? No, you're not. You're going to be found dead here. You're going to get shot here, and you're all going to go down. And they all went down. Hoover took them all down. You know, so, you know, one by one, they all ended up dead before their time.
So AB from YouTube said, "What's up, brother?" He said, "The dude's from Turkey. Dr. Oz is from Turkey." So I guess that explains it, I guess.
I don't know much about Turkey. I know that Dr. Oz makes his money in America. Yeah. I know he had millions of black fans. Who are probably very disappointed right now. But then, you know, these people show their true colors after Trump. Trump has made people show their true colors. People hid their, you know, back in the day, used to go behind a booth, close the curtain, and pull a lever for your candidate. You didn't talk about who you voted for. It was a secret thing, you know? When our parents were voting when we were kids, they never told their friends at work who they voted for. They never told you never told your family members who you voted for. You went behind the curtain, pull the lever for your candidate. Because of social media now, everybody's in everybody's business. Everybody knows that you vote for Trump. Everybody knows you vote for Biden. Everybody knows you voted for Hillary. You know, so now when you see on Facebook, whoa, my boy Carl voted for Trump. I need to talk to him because Trump don't really, you know, Trump's a racist, you know. So now you got a problem, right? Because now everybody that voted for Trump, you think is a racist.
Yeah. No, I think all of them are.
Because Trump has basically given a green light to racism. Has been around before Trump. Let's get that straight. It's been around before Trump. Grandfather was even around. So
he just made it okay to be racist.
When the most powerful man in the world, who is the president of the United States, allegedly the most powerful man in the world, the president of the United States, has what they call the bully pulpit, where he has a mic that magnifies. When his words, a president says something, the words magnify 1,000 times more than anybody else's. And Trump rhetoric for 4 years was so devastating that racist people were like, "Wow. What? This guy can say this? Okay, so it's cool for me to say." That's why we have now Tucker Carlson has no filter. Now, what we can do is find out who Tucker Carlson's sponsors are, and black people can say, "Hey, we're not going to support Charmin Tissue or Briggs Ice Cream." I'm just saying, throwing out names, you know, because that's who supports this show. So they're not gonna get our dollars.
Right.
Now that's a solution right there. But that takes organization. That takes that takes people to say, "Hey, you know, that's what we're gonna do." Because these people are dangerous. But Tucker Carlson has the #1 rated news show in America.
Yeah.
And he spews hate. That means that millions of people watch him every 5 nights a week. Millions of people are watching him that agree with what he's saying
and love it too.
So what did that tell you?
I'm not surprised.
I was with a comedian in the state of Florida. I was performing in Florida the week that Kobe Bryant passed away. And I was with a comedian. I won't mention his name, but he's a big Trump supporter. But we're on tour together. And I'm at his house when I get a text about the helicopter crash for Kobe Bryant. And I'm devastated.
Right.
And I go into his house. I'm in his house when I get the text. I had to walk out his house and gather my thoughts. I'm walking. I'm looking at the phone. I'm looking at is this real? I'm looking on social media. I'm starting to see everything pop up. Oh my God, Kobe Bryant's dead. This can't be real, you know. I run in his house to cut on the news. This fool has on Fox News. And he's sitting there watching Fox. I need to change the channel, man. Something just happened to Kobe Bryant. This dude had I've never seen a person so cold. Like, I'm almost in tears. I don't even know Kobe.
Yeah.
And I'm in tears. Like, I'm devastated. And I don't know any of the details. I don't know if his wife is with him. I don't know if his kids with him at this point. I don't think I know. Nobody knows anything other than Kobe was on the helicopter at this point. You know, and I'm like, I'm crushed, you know, to think that this man has lost his life, you know, this icon, this legendary basketball player is gone, you know. And all I want to do is get in front of TV and watch the news. And I'm at this Trump supporter's house, you know, and he wants to watch Fox News, and he care less about Kobe Bryant. And I'm thinking to myself as I'm sitting there, I'm going, because I did get to change the channel, and I'm sitting there going, this is how Trump acts. He has no soul.
I mean, after Trump said like there's good people on both sides, meaning including the Klan. I mean, after you say that, after people hear that and they still support Trump, that tells me right there what kind of person you are. I don't care who you. That right there tells me what kind of person you are. Forget all the grabbing and all that stuff. The man says there's good people in the Nazi, Ku Klux Klan, whatever. They cannot be good people in the Nazi party. It's impossible.
No. Yeah.
Absolutely. But people love their wallet.
You're right.
People love their wallet, Carl. I know Jewish club owners, Jewish club bookers who run comedy clubs that I work for that are big time Trump supporters because they have money, and underneath of at the end of the day, Trump passed policy to help people that have money. So people that are already well off financially got tax breaks. Their 4K was doing good, you know, because he was swinging things to help rich people because, you know, apparently he's a rich guy, allegedly. So they were, you know, a lot of his policies were for the super rich people. So a lot of these people, even Jewish, I see this Jewish guy on his Facebook who owns a comedy club in New York. He's a big Trump supporter. And I'm going, Trump just through love to people that were saying Jews would not support us.
Yeah.
And you still support him because your wallet is more important than anything.
Yeah.
That's all this guy cares about was his wallet, man. He didn't care about Trump supporting guys that saying Jews will support us. He cares about a tax break that Trump might sign or something down the road that's going to help his bottom line, man. So it's crazy.
Jess Miller said it's always about the money. It's always about the money.
Yeah.
It's
money over morals.
What's up,
money
Jess?
over morals. They don't think about that. You got to remember, us as Black people, we have empathy and sympathy for others. We would turn the other cheek so fast. You know, that's why we was Dylan Roof was able to come up in that place.
You know what we need? I'm sorry, let me cut you off.
No, go ahead.
We need white America. Because there are lots of white people who aren't racist. We know this. I know lots of white people who don't have a racist bone in their body. Like I said, my stepdad was one of those people. I have friends, you know, Jess Miller, who's watching the show right now, matter of fact. But I think this is not about Black people, Carl and Tiffany. I think white people who aren't racist need to speak up more.
Yes. I believe that.
What's the white lady, the old white lady who does all the videos, Carl?
Jane Elliott.
Jane Elliott, thank you, sis.
Yes.
Jane, there need to be more Jane Elliott's.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, there needs to be not 5, not 10, not 15, not 20 Jane Elliott's. There need to be 500,000 Jane Elliott's walking around voicing their opinion, because it's the only way. We can't win this by ourselves. We've already tried.
Yes.
You know, people go, well, Obama was put in the White House, voted to be president twice in America. And that would have never happened without the white vote. That is true. But after, look what happened though.
It opened up the Pandora's box.
It opened up because Obama becoming president. I say this all the time on this show for the last 2 years. I'll say it again tonight. President Obama becoming president of the United States of America is why we are here. This is why Dylan Roof was able to walk into a church.
Clap for that. Yes.
This is why Dylan Roof was able to walk into a church. This is why this loser went to Buffalo. This is why Carlson Tucker has the #1 rated show in Newsland. This is why Josh Hawley and all these other politicians and Margie Taylor Greene, all these right wing. What's the dude that Trump had from Breitbart working in the West Wing? You know, who used to run Breitbart, a racist website, and Trump hires him. Steve Bannon.
Steve Bannon, yeah.
Yeah. Steve Bannon should never be in the White House, not even as a tourist. Nevertheless, have an office in the West Wing. But that was all because Obama. I don't care what you think about Hillary, her baggage, her husband, or whatever the case happened in their marriage. Her resume says she could run this country 10 times better than a guy who bankrupt 8 casinos and was a game show host with no class.
But you know they wasn't gonna let that white lady run this country. That's
They're
the
not gonna let
racist
no
man.
woman run this country.
They're not gonna allow that at all. You know they're not gonna allow
the
that.
Secret Service has their hands very full because Joe Biden's not a spring chicken. If he was to pass away in the next couple of years, then we have a woman president, right, on our hands. America doesn't want that. That's why there's so much hate for Joe Biden right now, because
we show this video. We need more white people like this guy right here.
Hello, for Jackie, right?
Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah, you're like a white guy.
What's that?
Are you like a white guy?
Excuse me?
Are you like a normal guy? Like you speak English? Sorry.
No, you can get out of the car. I'm gonna
What?
cancel the ride. That's inappropriate.
What?
It's completely inappropriate. If somebody was not white sitting in the seat, what would be the difference?
Are you serious?
She said, wow, you're a white guy.
Oh,
That's okay. I'm not gonna take the ride. You guys can get out.
really?
Yeah, completely inappropriate.
Oh, you're a fucking asshole.
It's all on
You're
camera,
a piece
man.
of shit.
It's all on
I
camera.
should punch you in the fucking face.
You're gonna
my
threaten me.
God.
Yeah,
Assault.
yeah, fuck you.
Wow.
Because you guys are racist fucks.
You're a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Fucking nigger lover. Fuck you.
wow.
So here you have a white boy who just killed 10 fucking people and not a scratch on him, not shot at, not pushed to the ground, not punched, not kicked, not treated like fucking shit. Nothing. This is clear fucking white privilege, and black people can't even sleep in their own goddamn fucking homes without being shot at by the fucking police. White people, you need to fucking admit that you got fucking white privilege. I don't give a fuck if you like it or not. We are, as white people, protected by the goddamn fucking system, and I know you don't want to fucking change it. That's why you don't speak on it, but I don't give a fuck. My name's Eric Stone, because it's fucking true. Deuces.
So the first guy, the Uber driver, that lady got in and she said, "Wow, you're a white guy." And he said she was happy that she got somebody who was white.
But why?
And he just wasn't having it.
You just want to ride home, though. Who cares? Who cares what color the driver is, as long as he gets you to your house safely?
Kev, I don't get this hate. I don't get it. I know people are just evil. I said that before, and I told you this white friend of mine told me that that's strong as a word. it's too strong of a word to describe anyone. I'm like, but you got to be just evil to just wake up, drive 300 miles to kill people just because they don't look like you.
No, he was planning this.
Yes,
he planned
right.
this.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you planned it. That's even worse. You planned it. That's, to me, that's just pure evil. That's just evil. You're just
And he called, and then going back to the Uber driver, then they want to attack him and they call him an in-lover, you know, because now, you know, now this couple owns that restaurant, by the way. If you didn't know, they were leaving.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're leaving the restaurant that they own. They just finished closing down the restaurant. They were on their way home. They own their restaurant. So now they're being trolled on social media because they put out the name of the restaurant. And now people are not going to that restaurant now. White people and black people, because they have black customers. So now they're losing their black customers who went there to eat at that restaurant are no longer going there now. And white people who feel just like that Uber driver are no longer going to that restaurant. So the restaurant's name is out in the public now on social media, and they're getting their ass handed to them. You know,
if you don't like us, why take our money? Put your restaurant in a white neighborhood. Okay? If you don't like us, you don't want to be around us, don't take our money, don't be around us, stay away from us. It's just too much. It's just too much. And it's actually, how can you say, it's like black people have anxiety from white people. We got anxiety. Like, you've been harassing us for almost 400 to 500 years. Every time we turn around, it's something new. Every time we try to climb up, something brings us down. You understand? It's like too much. And like you said something, when Obama came in, that's when the racists came out. They were in a state of shock when that black man came in, okay? And they probably still is in a state of shock. But once he came in and Trump came in, it was like they great white hope. They great white hype. He's coming to save our country again from the black people. Stop. Because that's what they was feeling. Like I said, they think that we're trying to replace them. No, we are not as evil as y'all.
I was watching, I'm a big sports fan, so the NBA playoffs is on right now. And one of the hottest players in the NBA right now is a white guy, Adonis. Mm-hmm. And he's white, and he's amazing. Mm-hmm. And I'm listening to Sports Talk Radio today, and everybody's comparing him to Larry Bird, another amazing white player who played back during the Jordan era and before with Magic Johnson, those guys. But anyway, real quickly, I'm listening to Sports Talk Radio, and one of the guys said, well, why are we comparing him to Larry Bird when he really plays a lot more like LeBron James or Magic Johnson? His game is not even close to what Larry Bird's game. They have different styles. And one guy said, you know why they compared him to Larry Bird? Because he's white. So they'd rather say they compare him to a white guy when he's more like LeBron James,
Because he's been watching his videos.
So, but guess what? They're so happy. I'm listening to Sports Talk Radio all day because I'm psyched up on the playoffs, by the way. As soon as this show's over, I'll be watching the game. But they're so freaking happy about this guy because he's so good and he's white. And you hear the white commentators on the radio, they're just in glee. So I'm just getting to the great white hope thing, that you said. It's always a great white hope, going back to, Jerry Cooney as a boxer, he got his ass kicked by Larry Holmes, or just, or just back with the other guy, the great white hope boxer back in the day, an Italian boy, I can't think of his name right now. But yeah, it's always got to be this great white hope, it's just like, and Trump is their savior, he says, hey, I'm here to save you. Make America great again. Translation, make America white again.
Yeah, that's what I didn't understand. Make it great again? Like, what?
Well, we had a black president, so we're going to make it great. We're going to make it right again. We're going to make it white again. Mm-hmm. And that's basically what that boils down to.
But mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead, Tiffany. Go ahead.
No, but what bothers me, I wonder, do white people, are they really sitting back and are hurt and really see what this young man did to these people? And what bothers me, he killed 6 senior citizens. 6 senior citizens. Are you, what? It's go ahead, Carl.
Now, I was actually going to say something similar to what you said. Like, I mean, like, if I went into a pet store and shot 10 dogs, if a black man did that, shot up a pet and killed 10 dogs, you would see white people in the streets by the thousands.
Yes.
By the thousands.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So white people should be in the streets right now.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Even let's go for Jews should be in the streets. Everybody should be in the streets. Right?
That's my point, Carl. That's what I was saying earlier about we need to see more white people who aren't racist protesting this type of nonsense, because you hit it right on the nose. There are more white people who are angry at Michael Vick than they are at this kid that went to freaking Buffalo.
Right. Right.
There are more white people angry at O.J. Simpson right now than they are angry at this guy that went to Buffalo. So, you know, and the O.J. Simpson thing was 30 years ago, right? They're still angry at O.J.
I saw a video today. Somebody was making fun of those people that got shot. A video of somebody put up a tweet, clean up on aisle 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11.
And you know what? They have a special place in hell for them. Anybody, and I want to put that out there.
People are commenting with laughing emojis, and you know they're having a great time.
God don't
Social media shouldn't allow it.
We'll get it.
Social media shouldn't allow that. His account should be, he or she, whoever posted that, the account should be suspended indefinitely. You know, but it's not. It's allowed. That's why there's a platform. You know, for these people, they have platforms. They have racist websites. They're racist websites.
Okay, see, that was what I wanted to ask you. What do y'all think about that? Do you think that social media should be accountable for him, you know, because he did the video when he did the live streaming on this thing called Twitch or something? Should they be responsible? Should have got a flag, like they flagged me for saying I wanted to slap the girl, but y'all didn't flag this boy pointing a gun and doing all of that? Do y'all think that social media should be accountable for it?
Absolutely. Absolutely, because that's where they all live all over the country, right? They're not in the same state, they're not in the same neighborhoods, so that's how they communicate. They don't have a text group. I mean, it's easier for them to communicate via, you know what I mean, social media. So they should be held accountable, because they should have somebody. They have somebody of all the gazillion amount of posts on Facebook. They can zoom in on my one post where I said I wanted to. I think somebody had, I was talking about somebody that owed me money. And I was talking with another friend of mine, and I said, yeah, man, I wanted to burn his house down. That's all I said, because and this was like 15 years ago. Somebody owed me money, and I told my friend, yeah. And I was banned from Facebook for 2 weeks for saying that.
Did you see that?
I was going to burn. I said, I felt like I was going to burn way back when. I felt like I would go burn his house down. And I got 2 weeks suspension from Facebook, but you can't find a guy with a gun talking about he hates Jews and blacks and he wants.
That's right.
You know, but it seems like if there's they got to be looking at the picture or the profile. They know who's black and who's not. Sure it does, because that's how they get to use our profiles for advertising. You know, but it's like, even if you go on TikTok, a lot of black people on TikTok complaining that their videos get taken down if they do Black Lives Matter videos or anything related to.
Yes, I've heard that.
TikTok would take it down in a second.
But you can't do something when you have these white supremacy, race theory, all this stuff going on.
So what they started doing on TikTok, black people started showing at the beginning of the video, they would show, like, you know, the Asian girls dancing to soul music. You know, everybody wants to be black. You know, and you see them dancing, and then they'll show a clip of the Asian girls dancing, and then they will go into their rant at the whatever. And apparently that kind of fakes out the algorithm. They seem to think it's an Asian video, but then they get the message in there. So that's what they have to do. It's almost like the whole world is against black people. It's like it's almost like we need our own freaking society, because we are just never accepted. I mean, do you think we should be separatists now? Because you have white people that want to be separatists. This is what I think they're fighting for. They want to be separate, or they want us going where they want us to go. Our ancestors built this country. I want to separate.
Where are we going?
The way I want to separate is what I call the decent from the not decent. That's what I want to separate.
Because they are good ones and they are bad ones. Shout out to the good ones, but y'all bad ones.
I want to separate the decent from the ones who are not decent. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
The evil and the good. That's how I want to separate.
Mhm.
I don't want to separate white and black, Jews and Gentiles, Asians. You know what I mean? But I think that the decent people just need to be able to live a peaceful life. And if you want to be evil over there.
Yeah, like you said, I don't think we should be out there marching anymore. I'm not doing that. We already got our ass ate by the dogs. You know, we done got water hose put on us for us marching for freedom or just being a human being. It is now time for white people. Please talk to your friends. Tell them that this is not cute. All right? And somebody gonna get their behind hurt messing around with the wrong people. They're gonna step up on the wrong person and they're gonna get it. That boy lucky it was nobody in there ready for the life. Okay? He went in there crazy. And my thing is, you said we're not dealing with no mental illness. He knew what he was doing. He wrote up all these things of why he felt. That's a person in their right mind. And what bothers me, he didn't come out with an arm up his ass. Nobody beat the hell out of him. You understand what I'm saying? They didn't taser his ass. They didn't do nothing. He came out there clean and nice. They probably went and gave him a burger too.
All of them, all of the white mass murderers, you seen there's a video where they show you how they come out and like the guy said in the video, it's almost like they're holding a new baby. You know what I mean? They pamper them, you know. But
yeah,
black man, you know, like Eric Garner, they jump on him. I mean, it's just obvious. We're preaching to each other, but we know we all been black a long time. We know we get treated differently. We know people are more aggressive. Police are more aggressive with us. I've been in cars with my white friends driving. The police pull them over. They start talking very nice and laughing and joking. Then they see me. The police attitude changes.
Yes.
Changes. Mm-hmm. You got to get out the car. You know what I mean? So it's the way black people have been living. We're going to continue to live like this. It's just 400 years of being told that black people are bad. We're thieves. We're rapists. You know what I mean?
Here's a disturbing trend. The disturbing trend is that I always thought that especially when I was young, most racist people were old and they were stuck in their ways because they were old. So now we're starting to see it change. Most of the racist people that we're dealing with now are young.
They children, they grandchildren.
Yeah, 17, Dylan Roof, 17, this guy 18, the 9-year-old with the whip. I mean, it's just, you know.
But how do they get away with this stuff? I mean, like, white people have this ability.
Skin protection.
They have this ability to be evil as fuck and then pretend like they didn't do it.
Like,
you know what I mean?
Me?
Like, yeah.
Right. I didn't do, no.
It's I have to say that it's a brilliant way to oppress people. Brilliant, because you are doing some of the most evil things. We have video of you hanging up some trees, pictures of hanging up some trees. We have video of you shooting us when we're unarmed, and still you come out and act like, oh my God, like with the halo over there, and I think that messes with our brains. Like, you just shot somebody in the back of the head.
Yeah, it's like a bad relationship. A bad
exactly. You know, you're smacking me around, but you're telling me you love me. You know,
right. It's a bad relationship.
You just smack me in the face. You know, and that, and like I said in one of the last shows, until I wholeheartedly believe this, until America can admit that there's a racist society like they did in Germany with the Jews. You know, in Germany they admitted the Holocaust was wrong. The Nazis were wrong. What they did was evil. Now there's memorials up, and there's, you know, everybody knows, okay, this was a bad thing in our society, and we don't ever want to deal with it again. But America is denied. Just pretend like slavery never happened. Like, pretend there's no racism. Just pretend. And until we admit it, until America admits it, we're gonna be back here talking about the same thing over and over and over and over.
So what are the solutions? What are the solutions that we can do, or what can we recognize, or that we don't? This cannot happen no more.
One solution I spoke on earlier is, look, the almighty dollar. It all starts with the dollar. You know, Dr. King was assassinated when he started affecting the dollar, you know, because he was one man, and I can't think, I don't remember the name of the ice cream company that he called for boycott of this ice cream company. At the time, that ice cream company was one of the biggest companies in America. And of course, Jay was supported largely by African Americans, and Dr. King called for a boycott of that. So I don't know the exact name, I'll get that. But you know, it's all about affecting the bottom line, because America seems to only care about money. And Black people got to figure out a way to say, we're not going to go to your stores on Christmas. We're not going to participate in your Easter. We're not going to participate in your Halloween. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. And because apparently they don't think that, I mean, where would this country be, for those who don't want us gone, if we leave, this country's going to fall apart.
But why they can't go back to Europe? Time to go back to Europe.
Yeah.
Because they stole this land, they want to keep it. When you steal something, you want to keep it. You don't steal a nice Ferrari and then get mad because you got to return it to the police because they found your address. You know,
So
when you steal a Lamborghini, you want to
us.
keep it for a while. You want to get some mileage out of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they stole a nice Lamborghini from the Indians, you know, and they want to keep driving it, baby. They want to keep driving it. So. I mean, there's solution. There's no solution.
My solution, and this is my honest solution, and this is in my eyes, I think you guys ever notice like how everybody seems to go around America and not give a shit about Black people, right? White people get up and they can go to their own stores and they can shop. You know, they on the weekends you know what I mean. Chinese do the same thing. They just go about their day and not even giving a shit about whether Black people exist or not. They don't care who looks at them, who don't look at them. You know, I think we have enough now, and Kevin has said this, that we have enough, even though we should have more. But of course, you know, white supremacy and racist stuff has held us back. But we still have a lot. Through all the bullshit that Black people have been through, we still have a lot. We as people, because we all know what Black people deal with. I don't care if you're a CEO, a garbage man, a gardener, a plumber, whatever. We all deal with the same bullshit. We as people should all just come together. I know they'll come together. So, you know, we say that all the time.
No, keep saying it. We got to keep hearing it.
Okay. And we just create, you know, build a set up like a little Chinatown. There's a Chinatown where Black people, it doesn't have to be Black town, but a nice African setup where Black people can go. It should be a supermarket. You know what I mean? Places we can go and shop.
Everything, churches, hospitals.
What people think about us, I don't care. I don't care what you think about us. We got our own shit. We got our own stores. I mean, I would love to buy a car from a Black car dealership. I would like to go to a Black bank. You know what I mean? I would love to have a hospital where it was founded by Black people and just create. And we have the wealth to do it. We just do stupid shit. I mean, it seems like we just do stupid shit with our money. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like why a rapper need like 15 cars and why, you know what I mean? But
or a 20-room house.
They can do what they want with their money. I'm not telling people what to do with their money, but if you are Black and you really care about Black people, you know what I mean? And again, this goes back to the Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali mentality. These men Muhammad Ali was like, how can I be happy being rich when my people are suffering?
Right.
You know, Malcolm X had the same attitude. I think we need to get to that attitude. Information, man. So why, you know what I mean? We got to get to that space where we don't care create our own society. We got to create our own society. And Tiffany, I don't know if that answers your question. Until we create our own society, they're going to continue to fuck with us because they know we got nothing. You know what I mean? I'm sure that supermarket wasn't owned by Black people.
And I heard they was having an issue trying to get a supermarket out there. Like it wasn't a supermarket out there. And they, you know, they had to go and travel to go to another supermarket. So it's a history and a story about that. But we also know where there's death, there's rebirth. So I hope that by their sacrificing their lives is that we will look at our lives and do things differently. Like you said, have our own businesses, have our own schools, our own hospitals, because we have seen literally in our face in the past 4 or 5 years, they don't really care about us.
No,
they don't. So that lets you know that means it's time to take care of us and build our families, our legacy. And white people, again, you need to talk to your people. It's not for us to talk anymore. Y'all have enough information, the civil rights era, the slave era. We have enough information to show what your people have done to us. So now we are tired and we're moving on. And we have to make room for healing, because we're going to need some healing to be able to move on, because this makes you mad because you're not in control of things. Like, yo, I wanted to smack that boy.
I'm telling you, I feel anxious now being in public. I do, and I've never felt this. I know Kevin says he's always vigilant when he's out, but I'm out. When I go out right now, I'm like, I feel anxious.
Yeah. But you know, Carl, you feel just like Black people felt probably in the 30s, 40s, and 50s and 60s, right? Yeah. I mean, and we're going to do a show on this. This is one of the topics we were going to touch on, so I don't want to touch on it too much on this show. But one of the things we'll be talking about next week is Sundown Towns.
Those.
Yeah, there are a lot of towns. There's a lot of towns. There's a truck driver who was told in Texas, you need to get out of this town before sundown. Mm-hmm. This just happened last week. So yeah, but you know, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of towns in America where Black people can't be.
Why doesn't the American government go after these people?
Because they're part of the government.
Because they're a problem. The same way Eric Garner gets choked to death over some Lucy's cigarettes, and somebody run up in a church and gun down a bunch of people, and he's taking a custody without a scratch call.
Mm-hmm. They're part of the government. That's their friends.
It's a system that just doesn't care about people that look like you and I, man. That's just...
Okay, Gina Fiore. What's up, Gina? Gina said, do you think white people want to be around those who hate blacks, Mexicans, and love Trump? Hell no. I want to live somewhere where those I'm around have feelings, empathy, and love overseas money and control. Love overseas money and control. Gina, that's true, but I have a friend, she's white, and we were talking again. This is a different, and she said she was visiting her family in Ohio, and they're big Trump supporters. And when they started with the racist bullshit, she said she just walked out of the room. Like, why didn't you just sit? Why did you not? And this is why it continues, because nobody checks them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? She just said, I just walk out of the room because I don't want to be around them. No, you can't walk out of the room.
No, I would check a white person.
Everybody has to be like the Uber driver in order for there to be a dent in this shit.
You gotta check a person.
What's up, Information Man?
Hey, Information Man.
Hey, how y'all doing? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear.
Yeah,
because I'm actually in the car. Yeah. I want to give you all a heads up. Really check out I'm going to be doing a live stream this upcoming Sunday.
Okay.
And I'm going to be breaking some things down from my experience. And I think that Black people, we need to definitely make sure that consider the fact that we should learn how to use arms, and we have the right to arm ourselves like anybody else in this country, and understand arms based on the laws in the state that you live in. Understand that these white supremacists are always training and always preparing to do harm to us. Come to find out, that guy was going to that grocery store, they said several times. And he was speaking to white people and saying, how many of y'all work here? And when you look at the replacement theory, and I'll be going over his manifesto. I got the whole complete manifesto, which I'll be going over. But most importantly, based on the kind of work I'll do, I'm going to break down to you the whole structure of how the white supremacy structure, gang structure works in America. Things that you need to watch out for, symbols that you need to watch out for, little subtle things that they wear in terms of clothing, hand signals, the whole 9 yards. I'm about to go through a complete breakdown that Black people need to be aware of, all the symbolism, all the signals, and how these gang structures work from prison to the streets, because what you have is we have prison white gangs, which are called disruptive groups. And what he did is he carried out their mission. Then I will align that with Dr. Francis Welsing's Cressing theory, because she talked about how white people are concerned about their genetic survival. And in his manifesto, which I read last week, he talked about concerns about the birth rates of white women being below a certain level, which is not acceptable, and how they got to get their birth rates up, and white people are not reproducing themselves at the same rate. And most importantly to this is that this whole what do you call it, the Roe versus Wade controversial about whether women have the right to have an abortion or not. But don't get it twisted. This abortion issue is really about white society trying to stop white women from aborting children. This is about their birth rates. They don't give a damn about black women or any other group of women aborting their children. They don't care about that. This is really by default. They want to make sure, even if we're giving birth, they want to make sure that their kids are not aborted. So all of this shit is wrapped up into it. And then Biden went down there and gave a speech, but he never said what he was going to do about it. Just gave a speech that clapped. And this is a man who hung out with some of the most top white supremacists, like Strom Thurmond, who he sat up there with and wrote those bills that put a lot of our people in jail. So and the Democrats are going to use this to dust off the dust that's on their midterm to get us riled up around this issue. But this is the thing I want to see, folks, and I'll drop the mic here. Where I want to see if the Biden administration is going to come out with a specific black hate bill, anti-black bill, because they gave one to the Chinese. We forget what happened to black folks in South Carolina. Okay, so, and check this out. You notice how long it took them to tell us what his name was?
They always do it with them white suspects.
Right. But if a black person do that, they'll tell you what school he went to, how many now-laters he ate in the 8th grade, every damn thing. So just check out how they look at these, how they view these guys. His family was giving him guns when he was a little kid. This man was groomed. He's not a boy, he's a man, 18 years old. And another thing about this community that I just found out that's sad, it's a food desert. That's like the only store that they really have. They said they don't even really, I got this from people who live down there. They don't really have buses that really take them to that store. Everything is movement by foot. And that neighborhood, I guarantee you, is going to be gentrified very soon.
Oh, yeah. You're right. You hit it right on the nose. I was, yep. And that's very sad because, yeah, you're right about that information, man.
Yeah. Karen Francis, what's up, Karen? Karen said, why isn't there a hate crime for crimes against black people? Which information man just said. Why? We know why. Because honestly, if they look at the black community and they see we have no power. Jess Miller, what's up, Jess? Jess said that was the first supermarket they put in that particular neighborhood. I told you, yeah. Rachel Maddow did a great segment on it last night. There was a black neighborhood that white people got pissed about, so they built a highway to separate the whites and the blacks.
I knew it was a story behind it.
People have been working on getting that grocery store there for years. So, I mean, there's racism on top of racism. Is there anything being done in America that's not about race? I mean, people say there's no racism in America. Every single thing seems to revolve around race, and it seems to revolve around keeping black people out of any financial gains. It's so, I mean, how are we not traumatized? We are traumatized.
We are traumatized. You're like you say, like anytime, Carl, you go to the grocery store and you got to look over your shoulder and you just go in there to shop for some groceries, that's traumatizing. Anytime I leave out my house and I get in my car, or any black man get in their car to drive anywhere, and they're in the back of their mind, they're going, geez, I hope I don't get pulled over and killed by a cop. That's trauma. Most white Americans don't get in their car and just think that, oh man, I hope I don't get pulled over by a bad cop today, but we do. Every time I get behind the wheel of my car, it's one of the first things I think about, is, man, hope this ain't the day I get pulled over by a cop. Or we go into the grocery store, and I got to look over my shoulder to make sure ain't no crazy white boy walking around with a gun. We deal with it all the time. I mean, it is trauma, Carl and Tiffany and Information Man. It is trauma on Black America right now. I mean, just even watching George Floyd being murdered over and over and over and over again on the news, just seeing that whole thing, as we watch the trial, having to sit through it and watch it over and over again, seeing the knee on this guy's neck.
Coco Butter from YouTube. What's up, Coco Butter? She said his family is blaming it on COVID.
I heard that too. How were you going to blame COVID on his behavior? So that means if y'all knew that he was, first of all, we've been having COVID for a few years now. So if you knew that something was going on with him, why didn't you take him to somebody? And remember when you said, Kevin, he actually tried to do something to his school. So he has a pattern of bad behavior and y'all didn't do anything about it. But if it was a black child, y'all will already want to put him in the system. Why? Because you get money for black children and black bodies. How dare you? It's more to this story, and this is why I'm saying we're going to find out more and more and more. And he has a whole lot of followers that follow behind him and feel the same way he feels. And that's the cancer that we're going through. Those nasty racist people that think that we're trying to replace them. We don't want to replace them. We don't even like y'all half the time. We stay our distance and you stay your distance. Some are nice, some is not. But I make sure I don't mess with. I'm gonna be honest with you. I stay my distance because as soon as you look weird or crazy, I'm leaving.
But what are these white people afraid? I mean, black people are not trying to oppress white people. We're not trying to hurt them. We're not trying to do anything to them. Nothing. They're the ones trying to kill us.
Because they know what they did to us. They know what they did to us. They know what their ancestors did. So they are scared every time. Why do you think they shoot real fast? Because they already know, oh my God, they're going to try to get us. Let me just hurry up and shoot. They don't think before that. They don't think before they shoot. They don't care. They're scared and they're intimidated by us. And what happens when you have people that's scared and intimidated? They do stupid things. And that's what they're doing. And they really need to, matter of fact, the whole white community need to go to a counseling just like us, because we need help. We need counseling from this anxiety. Because I'm tired of seeing it on the TV. I'm tired of seeing this go on. You should have saw one of the young ladies crying on the floor because one of her family members was killed up in that place. We should not have to see this or deal with it. And now we have to train our young people now to look out for people like him. I have to tell my nephews, if you see a white boy with some army fatigues or maybe a large trench coat, or he look like he got a bag that can carry ammunition, you need to watch out. You need to run. You need to tell somebody because we got to be on point.
I'm doing exactly that. I swear to God, I'm paying extra attention to white men. I am absolutely paying extra attention.
So I have a question, because you just said something, Carl. You said white men.
Yeah.
So how come, I mean, there are racist white women, right? How come, I mean,
well,
I guess their method is different, maybe? I mean, because you're right, it is young white men who are mostly these mass shooters. You know, look, the FBI did a statistic. They said that there's a bunch of these camps in Tennessee, West Virginia, and Georgia. They know about these camps where these white boys are training, military-style training camps, where these white supremacists are training like the Green Beret, learning tactics, because they're gearing up for a race war.
Yeah.
But the weird thing about that, Carl, was on January 6th, we saw white guys climbing up a fence like it was nothing.
Nothing.
Now, I'm 57 years old. I'm not in the best shape in my life, and I'm not in the worst shape. But I can't imagine myself, and I'm from Washington, D.C. I've been to that wall on that national capitol many times. That's not an easy wall to climb up. and they were climbing up that wall like Spider-Man. So that's training. So you think these are just regular old country bumpkins who left their trailer park in West Virginia to drive to DC, and all of a sudden they put down their beer to try to crawl up a wall? No, they went up that wall. If you watch the video, watch how quick these guys climbed that wall like they were Spider-Man. It's
a lot of these guys. Got to remember though. They did a report where they did say a lot of those guys that you saw doing that sort of stuff that are part of these movements, a lot of these guys are military and police trained. In 2006, remember the FBI came out with a document saying that they believe that the police departments as well as military are infiltrated by white nationalist groups. So they have been, you got to remember, see, y'all old enough to remember back in the 80s and the 70s where we used to see the skinheads with the leather jackets and the boots, and you would see them go out and they would beat up people in the streets. And then what happened is they were getting arrested and they were doing heavy time. So what happened is, and I noticed, the leaders start saying, you know what, we're losing soldiers to go into prison. We got to change our methods. Here comes the off right now. Now they put themselves in suits. You see what I'm saying? And so what they said is they said, we got to join the military. Let's join the police. Let's join these institutions where we can still beat up on people that we don't like, and we can do it with a badge. Okay. Now, let me tell you, the white woman is truly responsible for this because the white woman is the first front person on the line. Guess why? Who are the majority of the teachers in this country? Where do black men, when they're boys, when do we first get demonized and deal with racism? When we go to school and the white teacher says that we're hyperactive, that we're out of control. They're the ones that call the police on us. So white women, black women, particularly, y'all need to be checking these white women out here because white women are the ones that's demonizing black boys. That's where this stuff has its genesis. And they have always been in the front line. Think about all the white women that lied and said that black men raped them. And then they allowed their brothers and their cousins and their fathers who were members of these groups to go and kill black men over lies. And even when the white boys knew that the woman was lying or that woman was lying, it was the excuse that they still needed to do what they did. White women have always been on the front lines of this racial structure towards us. Let's not forget that.
Information man, I just said that, and one of our guests in the chat, he said it's not the parents. No, racism starts from white women because they have the children. Okay,
right, and women are the ones that females are the first teachers of a child. That goes all across the board, and same thing in the black community. They first get this stuff starting with the mother that's raising them, and then it's reinforced by the father as well. That guy, that man did what he did because it was festering in his household. And it's been festering. I don't need anybody to tell me these things because where I work at, I deal with gang members and criminals for a living. And I understand the white supremacist structure. You know why? Because I talk to these guys. I see them face to face. I understand their ideology. And when you look at their records and their criminal files, you see, oh shit, their family had a long history of being in the Klan. They had how many people realize that Donald Trump's father was involved with the Klan back in 1921 out there in New York? He was up there in a Klan rally fighting against the police back in the 1920s. And where Donald Trump comes from in Queens, New York, was mostly white and racist. This shit has a family lineage to it. It's a culture. That's why when they tell you, because you're going to hear them say this, oh, we need more training. We're going to train these cops. The reason why they've been talking about training since I was a kid. The reason why it still doesn't work, because you can do all the training, but you can't get the culture that's being handed down from generation to generation out of them. It's a culture it's a cultural Negro practice. They feel entitled. Just like that video I did, just like what happened to the Delaware State University lacrosse team. Check this out. Those sheriffs, they were making up their own law. Come to find out, under Georgia law, the bus driver had every right to be in that left lane. It's only buses, it's only trucks that couldn't be in the left lane. And he told them that. And guess what? Come to find out, motor cars and buses in the state of Georgia under their law could drive. They didn't even give him a ticket after he stopped them, after they lied and said they didn't check the bags, and they did check their belongings. And then you had that buck dancing Negro, sheriff, Bowman, who's the leader of their department, so-called, he get up there and say, oh, we don't train this, we don't train that. Oh, they didn't do anything wrong. Come to find out they did every damn thing wrong. So you can't train this out of them, because in their mind, you're not a citizen and they are the fucking law. Yeah. And they make it up as they go.
It's in their DNA. It's, you know, right. Racism and everything is in their DNA, and it's really sad.
It's in everything. It's in our language. It's in our money. If you look at your money, the symbolism on the money, everything in American society is based in some racial strife.
Yes.
It's the way the country was built from the very beginning. And you got to remember, a lot of these Europeans that came over here, some of them were the criminals that got kicked out of Europe.
Yes.
So they didn't stop their criminal ways.
So basically, all we're saying is we will be talking about this until we get our own shit.
Absolutely, Brother Carl.
Basically.
Until we, come together as a people, and I know I keep saying that, and we just can't seem to get it, and start getting our own shit, we're going to have to deal with this. I know it's hard. I know some people put in the comments that, they burn our stuff down, they make laws, but we gotta keep fighting. We gotta keep fighting.
Well, listen, sorry to cut you off, but if we do build it now, that's my thing. I'm gonna fight for my people. If we build something and we do what we have to do, our community, and they want to come in, we supposed to have our own police and security.
Right.
By any means necessary, especially
remember
if
our people. Right. That's right. Just keep this in mind. Our people, whether it be in the 1900s to 1800s, our ancestors went through a hell of a lot more than we did, and they still were able to build communities. So there really isn't no excuse for the 21st century black man and woman today, because we got more resources, more money, more technology than they ever could have dreamed of. So they did more with less, mainly because they were segregated to themselves and they recognized that they could not integrate. But the problem with us today is that many of us are too focused on trying to get white people to love us and to accept us, and we want to integrate. And we think that somehow they're going to wake up and love us, and we need to get away. We need to get over that dream. We need to realize we got to do for self. We got to support our community. Every other group does it. Nobody hates on Jewish people. They do it.
Right.
They discriminate for their own people. Jewish people do it. Asian people do it. Every other group says we're going to do this for the group. Black people are the only ones running around here talking about, can y'all please still love us? No other group is running around saying, I want white folks to love me.
If I make a man, I'm not gay, but I can kiss you. I've been saying that for freaking years. I've been saying that for freaking years, man. Like we just seem to want acceptance, and it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. It's not coming. It's not coming today. It's not coming tomorrow. It's not coming next year. You know what I mean? We just gotta get our own. Listen, if I had my way, and we had to start, if you had to start from scratch, from making fire. And out in a prairie somewhere, and just building a community, starting from scratch with black people, and just, you know what I mean? I would do that. It's just so hard to deal with all the bullshit you have to deal with just because you're black. And you know what I mean? I don't care how much money you have, how you know what I mean? I swear to God, I look at Oprah, I look at all these super rich entertainers, and they still don't look 100% happy to me. You know what I mean?
No.
They still look pained by being black in America. You know, they're not 100% happy, and that's because of all the bullshit you got to deal with. And,
right.
we're not robots. We have
right.
feelings, you know.
Right. They're not 100% happy because they know that they can't completely be their full, authentic self. Matter of fact, brother, I heard someone say this, and I think it's very true. Ask yourself, brothers and sisters, sister on here, ask yourself, when have you, other than when you were around your own people, when can we actually be black?
Right.
When are you really, if you go out into business, you really can't be your authentic ethnic self. Black people have to conform in any place we go in this world outside of our own community. We have to conform to the norms or to what they expect us to conform to. So if you think about it, we're never really able to be ourselves other than when we're around each other. That's why the black church was so important to black people.
Right.
Really, we really can't be.
Right, we can't really be ourselves like we want to. And I try to keep myself, and I'm not, I have to be, I'm in fashion, so I have to work with all different cultures and all different backgrounds. But most of my friends, we are all, we're black sisters and brothers. We hang out together and do stuff together. Not saying that I don't want to hang out with white people. I don't have a problem with that. Y'all nice to me, I'm nice to you. But we don't come in with hate. We don't roll on that. But now that we see that y'all really hate us, because this is what's showing us, although, some of us already know. But a lot of people, if y'all didn't know, y'all see now. It's people out there and millions of people out there just like that boy that feels the way he feels, act what he did. They want to do. They probably rooting him on because of what he did. He's probably the thing now. They probably giving him kudos. You did your thing just because you took people's lives, but you just don't know. When you took 10 people's lives, you took souls away. That's a whole different thing, baby. You're going to have to deal with them souls whooping your ass for the rest of your life and your family life. You done messed it up for yourself. So I hope this is a message to all. Please, if your children got something going on with them and you see that something is wrong, please go find some help for them. Don't give them no guns for their birthday, anniversary. No, go get them some help. Go do something that will help them in their mental. Because to be honest, I can think it's mental because I really think something is wrong with white people sometimes. But then I know that boy had his right mind because you sat there and wrote 160-page manifesto, whatever you did, and then you took the time to travel, and then you rode around and you ride around and you was chilling. So you knew what you was doing. You was planned this all out. So you need to go down and you need to burn right in hell in jail too.
All right, let me address something. Jess Miller said something funny, and she's absolutely correct because I've corrected people. I told Information Man I'm not gay, but I could kiss him for saying that. She said, LOL, Carl, you don't have to say. Jess is she's gay, lesbian, and we talk about the similarities between what we deal with. Mm-hmm. So she said, I don't have. You're right, Jess. I don't have to say I'm not gay. What should I? What should I have said? Information Man, I can kiss you. That's it.
Oh no! Normally they say no homo.
No, I don't take it like that. I understand what you were meant. It was a saying, and I'm very comfortable with who I am. So I know exactly what you meant. A mature person knows what the hell was being said, but I knew exactly what you were meaning because you were basically saying that that's something that you've been saying, and that what I said was just really resonating with you because it's something that you've been speaking upon. I totally get it.
Yeah, no, but Jess and I are really good friends, and she's got the laughing emojis up.
That's why I laughed. I actually laughed. You know what I mean? Right. I'm mature enough to get the joke. I mean, come on now.
Right.
So yeah, the bottom line for me for everything is just we just gotta get our own shit, and how black people with serious kinds of money, can't come together somehow and make this happen is beyond me, because other groups do it. That's what other groups do it, man. I swear I go to New York and a lot, and I go into the towns where it's like Jewish areas and all the Jews that have all the stores that they have and they're just going about their business. They're just going about their business. They're doing all the shopping with the Jews and you go to Chinatown, we see the same thing. I'm like, why can't we have something like that?
But this is the thing, brother. Do you ever, because in San Francisco, I lived in San Francisco, we got all types of ethnic groups in San Francisco. I have never, and I have never seen other ethnic groups apologize for having their own banks, their own stores, and spending money with each other. But I have seen black people make apologies for it. What's wrong with us?
It's us. We have to. We are going through, our anxiety from America. We going through our own.
We're the only group. We're the only group that, out of all these groups, though, Information Man, that are constantly traumatized by, and still traumatized. I hate to keep going back to slavery, but it's just a real fact.
Generational.
We never recovered from the generational abuse.
Yes.
We've dealt with generational abuse. I mean, look, we talk about the Jewish people. We mention that a lot on our show. Do you realize there's no Hitler elementary school nowhere in this world?
That's right.
There's no Hitler high school nowhere in this world. But yeah, there are plenty of statues and schools and
General Lee High School.
Yeah, exactly. There's plenty of universities. There are military bases named after people who oppressed our ancestors. So it's still in our face. We still have to deal with. My kid might have to go to Robert E. Lee Elementary School. And who is Robert E. Lee? Well, he's a guy who, if he had it his way, I wouldn't be on this podcast right now. I'll be in the field still picking cotton, right?
Right.
So if he had it his way. So, I mean, we still deal with that. And we're never going to be like the Asian or the Jewish people or because they never had to deal with that. Yeah, they had to deal with the Holocaust. But the Holocaust didn't happen on this continent.
Right.
It didn't happen in this country. And Germany has done everything they could to make it right, because there is no Hitler schools in Germany. You probably can't even mention, you can't even have a street sign or nothing like that. But you drive down the street, you see Confederate flag T-shirts probably in Walmart if you look hard enough.
Yeah, this is banned in Germany. Banned.
Yeah, you can see Confederate flag. Or you go to a NASCAR event and there's Confederate flags flying everywhere. When you drive down 95 going into South Carolina, there used to be a giant Confederate flag. I think they probably took it down after it took Dylan Roof murdering 9 people for them to remove that flag.
I've seen some. I just was down south and on the road, and they still got Confederate flags up next to Trump.
Oh yeah, they're everywhere. I've been, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. There's still Confederate flags everywhere. I mean, it's a big thing, right? So, I mean, we deal constantly with the trauma of Jim Crow, slavery, the civil rights movement of the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the Reagan era.
How do we end it? How do we end it though? How do we? I mean, it can't go on forever.
The harsh reality is,
100 years.
An Information Man might disagree with me. The harsh reality is, Carl, is we can't change millions of white people who are racist. There are millions who aren't, but we can't change the millions who are.
I mean, how do we change the mindset? Like you said, it all came from slavery, and we just have this mindset that we can't come together, we can't do stuff together. You know what I mean? How do we change it?
I think we do.
Change that.
I think we do things together. I think we do. I think we do. I mean, I think we do to a certain extent. There could be more.
Cocoa Butter from YouTube said, "We have no power. What we do, we have to back us up. What do we have to back us up? Sorry for reading that wrong. We have no power. What do we have to back us up?"
I mean, we're in a no-win situation, Carl, and that's the reality we have to face. I mean, how do we win? I mean,
right.
So we had a black guy who was in the White House for 8 years, who really couldn't do much to push us forward without him being totally thrown under the bus. Here's a guy who's supposed to be the most powerful man in the world. He had to sit down and have a beer with some white guy. Remember Beer Gate? he was demeaned down to have to sit down with a nobody to have a beer just because he supported Trayvon Martin, or just because he supported his friend who was Dr. Lewis Gates. He supported him, I guess. Something happened at his house where they, cops did something to him at his house. The story behind that. But yeah, I mean, we just have never had the power, man, to be able to really change.
From YouTube says we got PTSD. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we have PTSD.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm saying in a nutshell. Thank you. We do. But shouldn't we?
Yeah.
We shouldn't be ashamed of it.
Kim Francis said when they get in trouble, talking about the rich black people, when they get in trouble, they are just rich black fuck ups. I mean, Francis from YouTube said until you leave for the motherland, you will eventually get shot.
So there are more people upset. There are more people upset at Will Smith, than they are at what happened in Buffalo, because we're now, because it's so normalized now. Racism is normalized. Right. Mass shootings are normalized. Gun violence is normalized. Like, you watch social media the next day after Chris Rock slapped Will Smith, compared to looking at social media now, 24 hours after the Buffalo shooting, and look at the difference in the interest,
Yeah, I
came to the conclusion. I want to say this real quickly. Black History Month was February, and I'm pretty heavy on social media because my comedy career. Spent a lot of time on social media promoting myself, stuff like that. I got a lot of friends. I'm up to like the 5,000 limit or something on Facebook, whatever. But I didn't see none of my white friends on social media post happy Black History Month. I noticed it as I scrolled through. But then you see the same people that didn't put Happy Black History Month on their Facebook page, not once in 28 days, post Happy Asian Day, because this Asian holiday just passed, Then you see Happy Pacific Asian something, or you see the same people, oh, happy, what's the Hispanic thing? Second of
Mayo.
Yeah, you see that all over social media from your white friends. You go, wow, they didn't say happy, or the Jewish holiday come up. You see these same people do the happy Jewish holiday things, but you never see the same people say happy Black History Month.
And I will tell you, Jess Miller is still watching, Jess Miller is the only, in my entire life, the only white person that has ever asked me a simple question. And I'll tell you, it threw me for a loop, because I mean, I had all the answers, but it just threw me. She said, Carl, what's it like being Black?
Oh,
nobody had ever asked me that question. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, what's it like to have to deal with shit just because you're Black, day after day after day, and a lot of subtle shit. You know what I mean? And you just get ready for it. You know what I mean? When you're Black and you leave your house, okay, I got to go out here. I'm gonna have to deal, and you kind of get yourself ready for it. That shit is strenuous, because sometimes you got other shit. You got financial shit you got to deal with. You got probably your family, your kids, all kind of other shit. And on top of that, you know what I mean? You're dealing with shit just because you're Black. It's like,
I think that starts first. Just because you Black first, and then everything else, we got all that. It's just a lot on our back.
Yeah, you got people thinking you're angry. You guys ever been just sitting thinking about just stuff, and you're just sitting there, and a white person, hey, Carl, what's the matter? You look angry. What do you mean I look angry? I'm just sitting here. You know what I mean? Like, really? I look angry? How? I don't feel angry.
I'll tell you what it's like being. Think about this, Carl. And last night I was asked to be on another podcast, to be a guest on a popular podcast. And I spent 3 hours of my life last night on a podcast talking about race. And I'm spending another 3 hours of my night tonight, most likely, talking about race. I'm a professional comedian. I make my living making people laugh. And I've been doing this all over the world for over 30 years, traveling this world, making people laugh. That's my passion as a comedian and a professional stand-up comedian. And I would love to be on a podcast with making people laugh. I'd love to be on a podcast being funny.
Yeah.
But I don't have that luxury because I have to do this podcast. As Carl says, it's therapy for us. It's a way to find a solution somehow, or outlet, or to get stuff off your chest. Because we are traumatized. In the middle of my gas. I'm on my phone. But yeah. And last night, I have better things to do, but I'm gonna go now sit in the studio. And last night, which I drove, I think, an hour to get to this guy's studio to do his podcast. In his basement with his studio set up. And I spent 3 hours, talking about race. And then I got in my car and had to drive an hour back to my crib last night. And I was thinking the whole time I'm driving back about this conversation we had. And here I was on this podcast with two white guys. The guy that runs the podcast is Jewish, and his best friend who runs the podcast with him is a white guy who's a Trump supporter. And we had a long talk.
See, you good. I can enjoy it.
But we have to talk to these people.
Right,
we have to try to have them. We're going to have Trump supporters eventually on this show, Tiffany, that we have to talk to. We have to listen to their side of the story. We have to have an adult conversation. We just can't have them on, because one of the reasons we try to get Trump supporters on this show, a lot of them are scared to come on. They were just going to beat up on them.
No, you said you left and you went to their house by themselves. That's what made me scared.
Well, these guys are colleagues of mine. They're professional comedians. They're both stand-up comics who I've known for years. Yeah, so they're not strangers to me. I've worked with these guys. I know them, and they worked for me. I used to have a comedy club in New York years ago, and they both have worked for me, and I've known these guys for years. So yeah, I wasn't in the company of strangers.
Oh, okay. I just got scared for 5 seconds. You said,
but let me tell you something. When I left his house, and he lives up in the middle of nowhere.
Oh gosh.
And so I walk out and I go, man, you must have black bears around here. He go, yeah, we do. We have them all the time. I see them in my yard. So I get in my car, pull off, and I'm driving down this long, skinny, dark road, forever before I got to a highway. And the whole time I'm thinking to myself, hope I don't get pulled over by a cop. And I saw a cop.
Right.
And at first I'm looking in my rearview mirror. I hope he don't get behind me.
Right.
And, that's what I deal with, man. That's what we all deal with, Like, I can't even drive home, listen to some music, enjoy my drive. I'm like watching out for deers because it's deer. Obviously, I'm in an area where there's deers and black bears. I'm make sure I don't hit one of those. But more than the deers and the black bears, I was worried about is a cop can get behind me and pull me over on one of these dark, long, wooded roads out in the middle of bumfuck New York. Excuse my language. Yeah. I was up in the middle of nowhere last night by myself, driving home about an hour from my crib. And I'm worried about, I hope a cop don't get behind me. And I just got off a podcast talking about race for 3 hours. I hope a cop don't get behind me, and I saw a cop and he didn't pull out behind me, and I was good. But yeah. I mean,
that's sad that we have to feel like that when we get in our car, when we done. And now, poor Carl, he gonna be going in the supermarkets like, oh God, you're gonna have to start ordering food, Carl. You ain't gonna be able to go in the supermarket for a little while.
Yeah, highly flavored from YouTube. What's up? Said we wouldn't sacrifice collectively for the better of the good, for the better good. We wouldn't sacrifice collectively for the better good. That's true. Like, we black people, we would not sacrifice. I mean, I think I've told this story before. Like, you ever wondered how, like, all these gas stations are owned by Indians? You know how they do that? Like, they'll all, like, 10 of them or more would get together, pool their money.
Like what they call that? A susu? They put all their money together or something?
One gas station, right? Then when that one starts to make money, they take the money from that one. And start another gas station and let one person have, so, and then they keep making, every time that it makes money, they take money from that gas station, it makes money or whatever. Even not just gas, businesses, they make money and they give it to another person in the group. So that person has his own gas station or his own store or whatever. And they keep, you know what I mean? But But like Kevin said, maybe it's because we were brought up. I mean, because of being told, I don't know, being told we're nothing. But it's got to end, Kev. It's got to end at some point.
But it's not our fight. We can't end it. We can't end something that, look, it's not on us to end racism, because we don't.
Tell your kids, if you brought up your kids in a positive way, say, hey, you can do anything you want, and I mean, you can't shield them from racism, but
right.
I think it should come to a point where years from now this should all fizzle out. We should not be having this conversation 50 years from now.
Well, Carl, I probably thought I wasn't going to have this conversation. My mom probably thought, look, we've been having this conversation. My mom had to have these conversations when she was a kid with her mother. Right? Like it never. My daughter turned, I think, 30 this year. I should know my daughter's age, right? My daughter turned 30 this year, and if I'm correct on that. Anyway, I didn't think that when I became a father, my daughter would grow up in a world that was racist. That's how naive I was, because I dealt with racism when I was a teenager. I remember dating a white girl, and I went to her house, and she told me I had to duck down in the car because she didn't want her mother to see me.
Oh, wait a minute. What?
Yeah, true story.
What?
True story. So there you go. So yeah, but I was probably 17 at that time. But I never thought that when I became a father, my daughter would grow up in a world where police were shooting us in the back 18 times and getting away with it. And look, and I never thought, so, we're still having this conversation. Yeah. Look, we're still dealing with, we have cell phones now. I was telling a friend of mine today, a comedian buddy of mine, I said, man, I wish I had a cell phone. You know how many celebrities that have been around before cell phones were popular? Mm-hmm. We were just talking about Bernie Mac today, and I was like, man, I spent a lot of time around Bernie Mac. I have no pictures with him, He's gone now. When I was around Bernie Mac, there were no cell phones, I said, I have no pictures with me and Bernie together, man. It's crazy. And I said, but the reason we're talking about cell phones, how we had, we wish we had them years ago, but now we have cell phones. But Rodney King beating took place on a camcorder the size of this flat screen right here, and a big giant VHS camcorder he filmed the Rodney King beating on, right? Now we have these cell phones that are just amazing cameras that are really putting cameras out of business because these things are shooting like real cameras now. And we're still recording police beating us now in high definition.
And it still doesn't do anything.
And it's still, and body cam. But we have technology with police now with body cam. I got pulled over by a cop a couple of months ago in the state of Maryland. And it was a female officer who walks up to the cars about 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm heading to my hotel. And she goes, I have to tell you, we're being recorded right now. She let me know she's wearing a body cam that was being recorded. Mm-hmm. Thank God I got out of there alive. But they went with body cam. They're still killing us with body cams and cell phones.
Yes.
We're still watching. We watch Eric Gardner get choked to death. And the cop is still at home right now, probably watching the game. I mean, he's at home right now.
You think those white policemen feel any remorse when they go home? You think when they go home they celebrate, or you think when they go home they're really sad and regretful and remorseful?
I don't think they're regretful. They just don't want to go to jail. They're not regretful. You can't do that to another human being and have a heart, Carl.
No.
You just don't have a heart if you could do that to another human being. You choke the breath out of a human being.
Yeah, we're going to wrap this up soon.
Okay.
And then you have no remorse taking the breath from out of a human being like that. Over something so simple as cigarettes or $20 a fake $20 bill. Now we see the footage of this guy being arrested in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Look at the footage.
It's right there.
They're like treating him like, he got caught stealing some jeans out of freaking Macy's. You know, and this guy just gunned down a 76-year-old woman shopping for who just left her husband.
Yeah, it's two other people in the hospital too.
You know, what part of my is like I feel like I'm walking amongst people who want me dead, and that's the truth. I feel like one out of two white people that I walk by that I mingle with just if they had an opportunity would kill me. I know that's probably a horrible thing to say, but I do feel if one out of two white people, if they ever got a chance, or they are ever in a position where I was dying, I just feel like they would have no feelings for me. Like,
well, we're all sitting ducks. We're all sitting ducks, man. We're all sitting ducks.
Carl, they don't remember. They don't care about us. So
it's been shown. You're right.
They don't care about us. And
hey, Carl, look behind you. The poster you got up, Michael Jackson. What's the name of that song?
They don't care about us.
Thank you.
He said this how many years ago? So we need to really call. I don't want you to feel like that. I don't never want us to feel like we always gotta be, nervous about certain things. I don't want us to never feel like that. I just want us to be more on point.
Because I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry, baby. We just need to be on point and recognize.
But they're killing us, and there's nobody in this. The majority of the country is saying nothing. Nothing. They're killing us, and majority of the people who don't look like us are saying nothing. Absolutely nothing.
That's my point. Everybody should be. The summer of when George Floyd was murdered, and this whole thing happened with the whole protest happened the whole summer. I hated to see that. It reminded me of freaking 1968. It was horrible to watch, but I think peacefully right now, millions of Americans should be going, what happened in Buffalo could not happen.
Absolutely.
And we're not going to do this. We're not. And there should be a major stand against racism.
We're all remember the pussy hats. That was they had millions of them out, right? Remember the women?
Yeah.
Hats?
They don't, we have to, people need to start boycotting. I mean,
boycotting? Don't you think we done boycotted enough?
Well, I'm talking about the people. There's too much people with power, Tiffany, like the Tucker Carlsons of the world. These people, look, they're not running around in hoods anymore on horses. No. They now have on, $3,000 Brooks Brothers suits, and they're on TV, and they're in our Congress, and they're on the bench, and they have power, and they're going to stop at nothing, And we had this debate about Biden. That's a whole nother show, man.
These are all racists.
We're gonna have we're gonna do a show on Biden. And
so
we're gonna do a show on Biden coming up, because here's the problem, Tiffany. And we've been down this rabbit hole before on this show. We have a choice: Biden or Trump. And Trump already told you, as you said earlier, Trump told you who he is.
That's right.
I don't care what the gas prices are right now. I don't care what speech Biden made in Buffalo. Trump wouldn't have went to Buffalo.
No.
Yeah. The kid that, or I won't even call him a kid, the monster who killed those 10 people in Buffalo is there because of a guy like Donald Trump, not because he was inspired by President Biden.
Right.
So we want to beat up on Biden all we want. But this guy that went to Buffalo and shot these 10 people, I'll bet everything I own he's a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
He's not a Biden supporter.
I believe
so
it.
We have to try to figure out a way to balance this hateful Biden, and hate for the Democrats that a lot of black people have right now. Because we're pissed because we didn't get this bill passed. We're pissed because they didn't pass the George Floyd bill. We're pissed about this. We're pissed about that. And you know what we're going to do? We're so pissed we're not going to vote for the Democrats. And we're going to let these, but guess who's voting? Guess who's voting? All these racist ass rednecks are going to vote in this upcoming election this November, the midterms. They're going to be out there voting, and they're going to vote. They're already voting. They're voting for.
Let me read a couple comments here before we go. Highly Flavored said, "We are too forgiving. Still
Yes.
Still have plantation mentality, meaning 100 in code, and that one that messes it up for the rest of us. That not." So, but once again, what's up, brother? We haven't seen you in a while. Once again, said at Highly Flavored, how can one mess things up for 100? That doesn't make sense. That's a good question. Highly Flavored, you can take that up if you choose to. We have someone who's trying to get us to go back to Africa because Francis says the motherland has 5G technology. It has all the luxurious you want. So there's no excuse not to come to Mother Africa. But then there's this the killing of you guys over there will never stop until you come home. Oh, Francis is in Africa. What's up, Francis? So Francis is saying that Black Americans or Black people in general need to return to the motherland, Africa.
I don't think we're welcomed.
Francis, we did a show on Black Americans versus Africans and also Black people from the Caribbean. But, you know, there's this thing where they say Africans don't like other Black people from America, but I'm sure you have a different view on that. Kamala Jones said Biden has one job, to beat Trump.
Well, that's his job.
Yeah.
But we spend too much time crying about small things, so looking at the bigger picture. But they're not sleeping on the big picture. They have one goal, and that is make America great again. And I already told you what that stands for. And that's their goal. And we can sit back and fret because we didn't get this bill or we didn't get that bill, or the Democrats aren't perfect, and this and that. And then Biden hung out with so-and-so 25, 30 years ago. You know, I get all of that. You know, I get all of that. Hillary Clinton got a picture with the dude too. You know, so I get all that. Biden was part of the bill that put Black people in jail. I get all of that too. I get all that too.
So the solution is to go back to Africa.
So let me ask you a question.
I need to say, why do they keep saying that? Do you think if we could go back to Africa, we wouldn't go back to Africa? Africa got their own stuff that they dealing with. I just heard WizKid say they don't even have electricity for 24 hours. Okay? Yeah. So they need to take care of their country and worry about their country while we over here still build. We built this country. So I'm not going to just leave there to go to Africa.
I ain't going nowhere.
Other people happy.
One place I'm going is front of this 70-inch TV and watch the rest of this game when this show airs.
Okay.
Let me say this, that I think we should be global as Black people. I think if anything, we should try to go over to Africa and invest because it is an open investment. But I don't think Black people who have a lot of stake in this country, I don't think that we should just up and leave it all together because that's really what they want to do. That's the whole point. They want to drive us out. And another thing too, because I do have a lot of respect for my brothers and sisters in the continent, and I understand Pan-Africanism and going there and getting connected to our roots. I understand all of that, but someone's got to explain to me if Africa is the place that Black Americans should go, then answer this question to me, because I did a video on this a long time ago. Why is it that you have thousands of Africans trying to get out of Africa? Maybe 2 years ago, you had thousands of African men from the western part of Africa that were taking rafts and they were landing over in Spain and they were trying to get out of Africa. So this is the question. If Black people are going to Africa, a place that we're trying to find out who we are and where we come from, why is the African who knows the culture there better than we do, why are they trying to leave And then another thing too, before you can criticize black people in America, you got to do something about your corrupt leadership over there that keeps giving the bag to other people who don't look like us. Y'all don't even control most of your resources in that country because of colonialism and people that's been occupying you. So black people, we've been fighting in this country for over 500 years against our occupier. So I respect the brothers and sisters in the diaspora, but they don't really understand our history in this country as much as we don't really understand their history. And that's the problem right there, because they want us to go over to Africa because they feel that black Americans have money so that we can invest the money in their countries, just like when they tell black people to go to Ghana because you can get citizenship, and when you go over there you find out it's all type of red tape just to get citizenship. And on top of that, you find out when we go over there as black Americans, they overcharge us. They be overcharging us. Their vacation package be overcharged. They be trying to get the bag on black Americans. I'm sorry, people don't know, it's not a popular thing I'm saying, but it's true. It's true. So if they want us to go over there and they want us to have this brotherhood with them, when we go over there, stop overcharging us like you charge us the same way you charging everybody else. Don't try to get a bag on us just because you think that we're dripped in money and things of that nature, because you want us to go over there and that's really what it's all about. It's about an economic exchange. They want to get our economic paper and what have you. But at the same time, they got problems over there that they got to clean up. You got the Chinese over there slapping. We done seen videos of this. Y'all got Chinese over there getting all the construction contracts, building stuff that they gonna end up owning, and then they on video slapping African men. Won't y'all deal with that before you start telling black folks where we need to go?
Okay, yeah.
Because we over here already fighting against our opposer.
Yeah, right. I'd rather deal with my oppressor than deal with them over there.
No, I'm just saying, no disrespect, but before you can tell us what we need to be doing, y'all better clean that up over there, because let's keep it real. The only reason why most other ethnic groups in the world are able to come to this country is because back in the day, it was black people who made it possible in this country to improve, to emphasize the importance of immigration and letting other people come over here. People forget that when they come over here and then they go to our schools and then they turn around, sometimes, not all, but some, and they say, what's wrong with black Americans? Can't you? It's like, sucker, you just came over here and went to our schools. You went to our university. You came over here to get the bag and to get the university education. You didn't get it over there.
And almost 50, 60 years ago, man, you couldn't even go to a school. We couldn't even go to school with them.
So this is how I look at it. We do need to unite with our brothers, not only in Africa, but we need to reunite with our Caribbean brothers as well. But we got to recognize that we all got a similar fight. But I don't think we should just pack up and just say, I give up. Because
I would never give up.
Because black people and other people that have come here, we got some lineage in this country, and we got blood that's laid on the ground.
That's
and last time I checked, I don't think many of our people ran away from here. Although we do know that there was a group of black folks who went to Liberia and created a country that came from here, and that's fantastic. But overall, our people didn't really run. We didn't really run out of the country. We kind of stood our ground. We migrated to different places, and everywhere we migrated, we caught hell. So to my African brothers and sisters, y'all need to do what y'all been doing, as well as the Caribbean brothers, and that is get in them white folks' ass about your reparations from Great Britain. South African brothers, keep getting in them white folks' ass about the land that they stole from you. Keep getting in their ass. Y'all, that's what they need to be worrying about, is reclaiming what belongs to them.
That's right.
Information, man. I can't even. You have said everything you have said is 100% true.
Thank you so much.
On the show. People from the Caribbean, people from my country, Barbados, people from Jamaica, people from Africa, they come to this country. Everything is honky dory. Now, we got here when the dust was settled. And And so, and it's just we don't know the history. I didn't know the history when I swear to God, when I first came to America, like, why don't these black people want to do anything? Like,
now you know.
Of course, it took me. You know what I mean? I'm like, so I was like, you know, I'm like, why are there? You know what I mean? I noticed a lot of black people had like this kind of an edge to it, a bit angry and stuff, and like, you know, what's the problem? You know what I mean?
Right. But
and
Carl, let me.
And then I started getting into the society. I got a job.
Mm-hmm.
I started realizing how people would talk around me like I wasn't there. You know what I mean? Like I'm right in front of you, and you're totally ignoring me. You know what I mean? I had a job where I went out on lunch and I saw a white guy that I worked with. He sat next to me and he pretended like he didn't know me.
So, Carl, you basically, what happened is you came here, you was wondering what was wrong with Black Americans, and then after you had a chance to live in the culture and understand what we were going through, you start to experience what we experienced. And guess what, Carl? None of them white folks cared about what island, what country, continent you came from. They saw you the same way they see me, and they treated you accordingly, and you found out firsthand. That's why you have the understanding.
Absolutely. Even though I will say, and I have said this on the show, when some white people find out that I'm not Black American, they do kind of loosen up. You know what I mean? They a little nicer. And I noticed that. And it didn't make me feel good. And I'll be honest, a lot of my Caribbean friends felt like that was a feather in their cap. I don't know if you know what I mean? Like they felt good knowing that, hey, the white people like us. They don't like the Black. And you're fucking happy about that? You know what I mean? Why? What does that? It didn't make me happy. What it did is it made me want to find out why.
Right.
Until I opened my mouth, and you thought I was just a regular old Joe Schmo black person. You were a mean fucking son of a bitch to me. But from the time you realized it was from the Caribbean, I wasn't from here. Now you kind of, and I noticed that they loosen up and they're a lot nicer, and you know what I mean. You know what I mean. So I'm like, okay, there's something going on here. You know what I mean? And that's why I am where I am today. You know, because I made it my business to find out what that, you know what I mean?
That's good. And that's good.
You know, so I mean, if you from Africa or the Caribbean, you lived in America, I don't see how you can still say anything about Black. The Black American experience is unique.
Yes.
Unique.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? I didn't know you had black and white water fountains before I came here. I never knew that back in Barbados. You know what I mean? I never knew you couldn't walk on the same side of the street as white people. You can't, if you go shopping, you can't try on clothes. You can't try on a hat because it's black.
That's right.
You cannot get a job because of your name or because of your hair. You know what I mean? You think we'll see somebody like Tiffany with that beautiful hairstyle reading the news on MSNBC or
no?
Or if Tiffany had the ability to be a CEO, I'm guaranteed her hair will prevent her from becoming the CEO of a company just because that's her fucking hair.
Listen,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it prevents me from a lot. Just being who I am. I've always been a pro people, pro Black people, pro for our people. You know, Black owned bit. I've always been like this. So a lot of people either love me or they're intimidated by me, and it doesn't bother me.
So all this stuff we don't know. You know what I mean? But I think we should make it. I had a person from my country, Barbados, tell me they saw the show and they told me, Carl, this is not your fight. I'm like, you know what I mean? But the reason I'm able to be in this country and achieve the little bit of success that I have is
because of our ancestors.
I'm not going to deny that. You know what I mean? It's because of the people that got dogs sicked on them, got spit on. I mean, I watch videos, you know, people getting hit with rocks. I saw this, you know, getting punched in the face. Black
but see, Carl, that's wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong what that person said to you. You are in the fight, Carl, because you live in this country and you're being treated just like us because they don't give a damn about where you come in the world. So you've lived here long enough to experience and know what we've gone through because you're going through it yourself. So how can they say you ain't got how can you not have a foot in the fight when you're going to experience some of the same shit we're going to experience because they don't know where you come from. See, That's the misunderstanding. And that's one of the things I hope. I hope that black people in America and other black people in the diaspora, I wish we could have an honest, sit down conversation about these things to heal these misunderstandings. Really, because we have misunderstandings about people too in the diaspora. Don't get me wrong, black folks, we got some misunderstanding too out here too.
You know, but I can tell you the reason why a lot of people from the Caribbean, they think that way, because their objective, and I'll guesstimate 95 to 98% of the people who come here from the Caribbean, their objective to come to this country, make as much money as possible. So they're just here knowing I'm going back to my country. I'm going back to my island. So I'm just here to make as much money as possible, and then I'm out. So that's their mentality. That's why they can, they can say what they say, because they know that at the end of the day, when I'm finished with America and I've made all the money I want,
they can go back to their country, right?
The country, and they go back to the country, and it's 98% black or 99% black, and I'm cool, and I'm accepted, and so they don't care, and that's the bottom. They don't care. They come here.
What's interesting about that is that somebody from your country also called, could have been in that grocery store last Saturday, and that killer wouldn't have said, "Oh, you're not a black American. You're from Barbados, right? So I'm not going to shoot you." Of course, that's not going to happen. He's going to shoot, right?
Right. He's going to shoot.
So people that come from Africa or Barbados or any other country of color, and they come to America, you're going to get treated just like the African Americans that were born and raised here. So yeah, it is your fight, like you said, because you could have been in that grocery store, and that guy will shoot you just because he see your skin color. He don't know that you're from a different.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to thank everyone for coming on the show tonight. We really appreciate it. We see a lot of you stay with us throughout the entire show.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pamela Jones, Yvonne Williams-Simmons. Thank you so much. Yvonne is the one that kind of disagree with you, Tiffany, about the white mothers. But it's a nice disagreement. We don't.
Oh no, we respect you.
Yes, absolutely. Highly flavored. Thank you so much for checking in. Emma Bird, thank you so much. Sharon Gooden, thank you so much. Thanks to everyone. Jess Miller, thank you so much. I mean, once again, thanks so much for checking in, brother. Highly flavored, and once again, kind of got into it tonight. But I'm sure if they met, they'll be friends. I think I mentioned Sharon Gooden. If I missed you, I'm really sorry. But once again, I want to thank you guys. And just remember, this show is just about to heal, a place where Black people can talk and heal our shit. We got to get it out somewhere.
Yes.
I mean, so from here on in, this is the Black Therapy Show with the 5 Black Comics. Thanks again. Tiffany, anything you learned I want to share tonight before we
I'm just gonna say again, our sincere condolences to all the families that's from Buffalo. I really tell people, learn your history, learn our background, learn about others. Start having this conversation, because we need to have this conversation. White people, I'm tired of marching and protesting. Talk to your people. Please talk to them, because this is too much. We are tired of this, and we are tired of y'all harassing us and bothering us. Also, people like and share and subscribe. Make sure you come back, because we know we're going to have to talk about this again. This is going to be because we're going to start learning more and more about this case, and we need to continue to have this conversation. Thank you so much, everybody.
All right, Kev.
Everybody, keep your eyes open. Stay vigilant. Stay vigilant. Know your surroundings. Something my daughter heard since she was freaking 7, 8 years old. Know your surroundings. I still tell her that today. So just know your surroundings. Keep your eyes open, and because the world is a dangerous place for us right now, and nothing's going to change. It might get worse. It's a lot of people out there who wants to bring us hurt, and they feel like they have. The green light to go forward with the evil deeds. And so that's it, man. So next week's show is going to be strong and powerful once again. So we appreciate everybody watching us. And we'll see y'all next week with another
Francis,
great show.
Francis, our African brother, said Africa doesn't have much, but it will save your lives. Okay, Francis. Okay, he says Africa's gonna save our lives.
Yeah, that's the motherland. That's our connection. Yes, we understand that, but our motherland has to be healed also. They're going through a lot too, and we're sending love to them too, because we love y'all. Because if it wasn't for y'all, we would not be here. Absolutely. But regardless, you are our brothers and sisters.
Absolutely. Amen. So I want to leave this like Kevin said, just remain vigilant, and I condolences to the family.
Yes.
That that lost all the loved ones, because I can't imagine what it's like to leave home to go to the supermarket and then return. Who's thinking about that? You know what I mean? Nobody's ever thinking they're gonna go to the supermarket and not return home. So once again, thanks to everyone for watching the show. Please like, share, subscribe so you get notified. Linda McCoy, thank you so much checking in. Rick Jenkins, what's up, Rick? Rick is a fragile friend of mine, comic. He has a comic club in Boston. He said his sister works at the Tops. At that Tops.
Oh wow.
My sister works for Tops. Yeah, he said his sister works for Tops. So I'm glad she's safe, but it's sad.
No doubt, yeah.
So check us out next week, please. Like I said, tell all your friends, have them sign up, like, and share. Tiffany, thank you so much. Love you, my sister. Kevin, love you, brother.
Love you, brother.
Man, thank you for the notoriety you've brought to our show.
Thank you, Information Man.
Okay, Information Man. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, I always enjoy what you brothers are doing over here. So, thank you,
man. Bring that heat. We appreciate it, man.
Thank you very much, and I'll see you guys next week. I'll be listening in, and then we'll definitely talk about setting a date to get you back over on my program so we can get into some more of this deep conversation. Peace, everybody.
Peace, man. Have a great night. Stay safe out there. All right.
Information Man show is on Sundays. I think it's 5 p.m.
5 p.m. Okay.
I think that's he's in California.
Yes.
I would try to watch it, but he better not be on when the Golden State Warriors are playing.
All right. Thanks again to everyone. And we love you, we mean it. And tell the people you love how much you love them. Because you saw what happened on Saturday. Those people left home. Probably didn't get the last chance to say I love you. And now they're gone. All right, guys. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night. Peace.